This is the Rebel Yell podcast, supported by MK Window Cleaning and Price Jones Electrical.
Jacko, have you finished mopping your mess up?
It wasn't my mess, it was the chairman's
The chairman
mess.
knocked his bottle of water, mopping your mess up.
If he only had a Nike rucksack, it would be much better.
Oh, yeah, you see what we're talking about later on the podcast. So welcome to episode 3 of the Rebel Yell podcast, 25-26 season, proudly supported by MK Window Cleaning and Price Jones Electrical. Gentlemen, Jacko, Spencer's decided to turn up this month.
Yeah, it's nice to see you feeling
Nice
better.
to see you.
Yeah, it's a nice quiet one, and it's not much gone on in the last
No,
month.
I mean, you left me and Jacko and Gary, I'd say, like, thanks for leaving us in the lurch on the last one with bloody Aggie leaving literally as we were about to record. But nice to have you back. You feeling better, Spencer?
Yeah, all good.
You ain't got the. Well, you said you have got a lurgy, but you're like, you haven't got rid of it properly, have you?
Who
Yeah.
hasn't at the
I
moment?
mean, I don't think a Worthing Beer Festival really helped you on Friday, did it? To be fair, I'm sure that didn't help your lurginess, but we had a good time. So, I mean, ironic, really, isn't it? Because not much to talk about this month, is there? Not much at all.
It's been very, very quiet.
It's been well quiet, hasn't it? I mean, bloody hell. Adam Hinchwood has returned to
Who?
Worthing FC. Don't even say who, because you know the Messiah has returned. We'll talk about it later on, but bloody hell, guys, did you really think that when Hinch left 18 months ago, whether it was, he'd be returning to Worthing? Because I generally didn't.
I didn't think he'd be returning to Worthing 2 weeks ago.
No.
No,
You finished knocking the stand over as
Yeah.
well? God, he's knocking everything tonight.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it would happen.
I mean, Spencer, I remember the conversation. We had it because obviously as soon as Aggie went and we were down, I think, in the club, you know, with a beer, and we were like, there's no way Adam Hinchwood is coming back to this club, because nothing to do with what he can and can't do, but in the greatest respect to the club, we're a step backwards from where he went.
Well, with what he's achieved, you'd be thinking he's looking at the next step on. But, you know, Worthing could be the next step on.
And Jacko, did you ever think that he would be coming back so soon?
No, I didn't actually. I had my money on somebody else, but, you know,
Who was that?
anybody, I don't know. Not
Oh,
nobody,
you yeah, no,
no one in particular, but, you know, based on just...
Dom De Paula.
based on...
Bet his ears perked up, didn't they?
based on his achievements, and, you know, I think he could manage at a higher level, but then he come back to us, yeah. Good
But
for
this
us.
could be a high level from eventually, you never know.
And I think you could see the effect he had in the last couple of games anyway.
Does a cracking job here. Who knows where he'll end up?
I mean, I have to say that, you know, a lot of, obviously, we recorded when Aggie had left the club, so we didn't really have too much time to actually look at anything, but I was quite confused with some of the sort of responses to him leaving the club after, you know, it seemed to be very negative and almost like happy he's gone. Did that surprise you? I mean, I know he was never going to be a Hinch type character, but the negativity did surprise me a little
I
bit.
think that's the whole thing. He wasn't Hinch. And there's lots of people just tied into, you know, they loved Hinch and it was hard to get their head around somebody different.
It would have been different for anybody to come in, but to say, you know, seeing comments that I never liked him anyway, I thought he was shit.
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
out
you know,
of order.
we had a really good season. Yeah, we didn't. It could have been better, but highest points total ever. Yeah, good luck to him. You know, he's moved on, and we moved.
Yeah,
and
good luck, Aggie.
Have we moved on and moved back? I think we have moved on with
Not
Adam.
moved back.
Yeah,
But
thanks to Aggie for all the time he's always given us.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Oh yeah, he was always very good with us.
I mean, I think, to be honest, when we talk about, like, you know, maybe he was never that endeared to the fans. I mean, there were times where he reacted to responses which we personally have said we don't think he should have. You know, you got in this job, you got in this role, you've got to ignore comments from fans in the crowd sometimes. I think sometimes he let it get to him a little bit too much. Maybe we saw him at the end of season 2. Like, he looked like he was hurting so badly when he didn't get that promotion, which of course he would be. Yeah. Do you think he ever really got over that?
Don't know. It's hard. It's really hard enough, and
because he knew we were a goal away.
Yeah.
We were a goal away.
But I, personally, I didn't think he was the manager at the beginning of this season as he was the season before, the person. You know what I mean?
He seemed like he was feeling the pressure a bit this year.
Yeah, something missing.
Rightly or wrongly?
Well, I don't know.
He signed a new contract in the summer, didn't he? So
bloody good job he did, because he got some decent combo.
Yeah, but I'm guessing in his head, the expectation is then set again, isn't it? Of like, you need to.
Yeah, but also
he's on. But plus, also his own personal aspiration. He was really driven as a person, as a manager. He wanted to go up.
Oh, you remember the first podcast we did with him, and he said, he told us off mic. He said, we are going to win this. He did say that, but also he got everything he wanted this year. He could bring his own players in he wanted. He got the full-time or hybrid, whatever you want to call it, model. There's a lot of pressure on him because there was a massive investment from the club to do that.
Well, Aggie, I think if you're listening to this podcast, thank you. Thanks for your time, club.
Yeah,
thank you for representing 100%. The badge, and we always know how much it meant to you. Thank you for giving us your time on the podcast. And, if our paths crossed in the future, I look forward to having a catch-up with you then. But one other person that went was Dean Hammond, which... do you think he deliberately got his red card? He went early. That surprised me a little bit.
I'd say Dean going was more of a surprise than Aggie going. Really wasn't expecting it, especially as it wasn't announced at the same time. He'd been announced as caretaker, and you're thinking, okay, he might even be in the running for the job.
Yeah, well, I mean, I generally thought it might be Dean Hammond. I thought Dean Hammond, of anyone, I thought the club wouldn't necessarily... I mean, we did joke with Nathan on that night saying, are you calling Hinch and stuff like that, and he just ignores me. But, I would have been very surprised they hadn't. But if he'd said no, would they really have persuaded Dean? But we talked to Barry soon, and he'll go into a bit more detail of that. But Hinch comes back. I mean, on the day it was a worst kept secret. People leaking it on the press for some reason. Well, I don't know where they got their inside information from, but it would have been nice for them to let the club announce it. But he's back. So, and I don't think I've ever seen such a euphoric reaction from the Rebels because everyone was over the moon.
Yeah, and I think that Shelton's first game back, isn't it, against Forest Green.
It's what a game to come back to.
Yeah, but it was a great game to come back because he had nothing to lose. If we lost, it was expected. If we had won the game, it would have been great, wouldn't it? He would, he couldn't go wrong that night, really.
And like I say, what a quiet month, hey? We had Hinch come in, then we were on TV.
Yeah.
Cup draw, the FA Cup's here. Everyone's getting a picture of the cup. We'll get onto it. Temmie.
Yeah, Temmie. To be fair, I mean... Third time lucky for Hinch. I mean, talk about busy month. We've got a busy bloody podcast because you're going to be in for the long run for this one. Adam Hinchelwood, obviously, a very in-depth interview of him, and he tells us about his time at York and, being back to Worthing and what made him come back. We speak to Barry Hunter, which will be up very shortly. Speak to JC. We're recording just before the women's game kicks off against Ascot tonight on the Tuesday night. So I think without further ado, guys...
Got somebody else.
Ascot for the horses. Yeah, there you go, Gary.
And then Jon Meeney.
And Jon Meeney, sorry, yeah, we got Jon Meeney. Can't forget Meeney.
That was a very
Bruce Forsyth himself.
That was an interesting conversation.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation. But without further ado, let's speak to Barry Hunter on this Rebel Yell podcast.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Well, Barry, welcome back to the Rebel Yell podcast. On popular demand, it should be said, from people on the online, they wanted you here literally last time as we recorded and Aggie had left the club, but we did explain that Barry's probably got other things that are important at that time. He's probably sitting at home in front of a laptop going, right, the process starts again. So welcome back. We've got you on. How are you doing?
Hi, James. Yep, very well, thank you. I'm just, so everyone can actually understand the situation here, you three guys have got brand new microphones on pods where you've got earphones on. You're looking really professional, and I'm sat in the corner with holding
the old mic.
The old mic.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, we can only afford 3. So maybe this is actually where we say to the chairman, there's little areas in this ground, a radio studio, like for us, for the pod.
Here we go.
Yeah. We've got to bug him about something, haven't I? Yeah, dual use.
We'll get the storage first.
Yeah, exactly. Well, don't you remember Hemel Hempstead underneath their scoreboard? They've got that sort of, looks like a sort of Sky Sports studio box. Did you ever see that? Maybe they can make a space for us under there and we can have it underneath.
I think they were sponsored by a shed firm.
Was it? Yeah.
Sheds.
Well, MK window cleaning, Price Jones Electrical. You could get some old windows, put them all together and all that malarkey. I digress, but I've got to annoy Barry about something because most of the things I've annoyed him about in the past 2-3 years have actually come to fruition now. Apart from this place we're in now that we're not allowed in anymore unless with special permission.
Special permission and the fish burger. I think we're still working on.
Yeah, the fish burger. I forgot about that.
Barry.
Well, why don't you invite me in here for a fish burger? Because I've seen the prawn sandwiches that come in.
I'm loving this, James. You're doing all the talking. You've got 3 more minutes. So
he's off to watch the women's game.
You've got football club events now. You're obviously not reading your comments.
Yeah, I know. Football club events. taking the pressure off us from organising them. It's good to see. But Barry, welcome back. Obviously, as we said, it was from a few requests last month with Aggie leaving literally on the day of recording. So as a joke, the process started again for you with the manager. The process, yeah, back again when obviously that day, I didn't think you were going to be doing it so soon.
No, it was a surprise for sure. To one extent, it was a surprise because Aggie had been with us season and a half, and just more than just short of 2 seasons, and we didn't expect this to come around so quickly, especially as we'd signed a new contract to extend his existing contract for a couple more years as well. So, but at the same time, when you're at Worthing nowadays, you're in the shop window. We have got a reputation for bringing players and managers through. So to some extent, I guess we shouldn't have been surprised in the interest, and it's flattering, and it was something, we just have to be capable of dealing with the situation. And I think we're able to.
So what was the time span then from...
Well, I was going to say, it's almost good you signed that contract because you got a little bit more extra compensation for that, didn't you?
So, because we talked about it in the last podcast of last year, didn't we? Because there was a rumour going around that he might go somewhere else. You extended the contract and then Sutton came in. But what was the time span of them contacting you or the club and then Aggie leaving? Was it really quick or was it...
The official engagement between Sutton and Worthing Football Club was 7 days from official introduction contact to the deal being done. That was 7 days. 6 of those days were the Sutton emailing us with proposals of compensation. The process, by the way, has to be that they can't have official permission to talk to a manager unless a package of compensation is agreed with the club, because ultimately the club's going to have to enable the manager to exit his contract, and for that there needs to be a compensation agreement. So that's done, is expected to be done before the manager and the club looking at him can officially talk to him. So there was 6 days of to and froing in terms of what they would like to pay us as compensation in order to talk to Aggie, and those numbers weren't acceptable. And then it was a day of the owner of the football club calling me from California. So I was up till 3:30 in the morning on that. I think it was the 1st of October, 2nd of October, that period. We started at something like 10 in the evening our time, finished at 3:30 our time, and the deal was done, and it was announced the next day.
So you talked to the owner of Sutton. Do you have to go back to the board then to agree it, or could you make the decision by yourself?
Oh, no, this is definitely a decision that I would expect the board to make, not me. I represent the board to the contract. I was there negotiating with him, but I didn't go back to the board because I'd already knew what the board would accept, all of us, what we thought was the right thing. We worked that way round, and so that was why it was easy to do the batting off for the first 5 or 6 days. And when we got down to serious conversations, I was very clear what the board would accept, and that's why I was able to go and do that deal.
So it was announced. Perfect time for us, as we've said.
6 o'clock.
You'd be so pleased that we actually had planned for an episode with Aggie, because we were like, we've got these questions that we've been on the phone, we've been prepared, and then Jude goes, right, you might want to change your podcast. And what? And give it 2 minutes, and you'll know why. And he calls me, he's gone. I'm like, and then he's in the bar just on his own, almost in a dark room. I'm like, what's going on? And then so it was an interesting one, definitely off the cuff, but you've had that process. That's gone. That's done. Aggie's gone. He's nicest possible way. He's now you're not of interest. He's not of interest to you. You're now focused on Worthing Football Club and the next manager. So we saw Nathan pacing up and down in that room on that night. So obviously we knew he was making loads of calls. Do you have like a sort of short list just in the back anyway in case of things like this happen, or did you then sort of start touting names around? What is the process to the fan? Because obviously we just think, they knew Hinch, they called him, but there obviously would have been other people, because I'm sure Hinch will be approached being out of work, but you must have had other people. how does it all work? Like, where do you get the shortlist?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, let me just go back first of all to Aggie, if I may, just on one thing there, because we didn't want him to go, and we made that very clear to Sutton. And that in a way helps when you negotiate, because actually it means that you could be really forthright about what you want. We didn't want him to go. He had, in the prior season, given us the highest points tally. We were 1 point and a few goals away from automatic. It was a very, very good season. He just put together a very good squad, which he wanted to take into a second season. He was the guy that basically encouraged us to take the decision to go full time. We backed him, and we had an indifferent start. We know that, but nonetheless, we had every reason and desire to keep him.
Yeah.
So that helped us in our discussions, and the only way we were going to allow Aggie permission to leave and move from his contract was if the club was fairly treated. Sutton got their manager. The manager got his new opportunity, which we understood. And, our listeners, our supporters need to know that the football club got fair compensation, which meant that we were able to then have options about what we could do on the other side of this deal, rather than think, now what, having just lost Aggie. We were very, very firm about that, and it was done, I think, respectfully, professionally, and we got equitable deal out of it. And so then we went to think about how do we now go and solve this problem. So back to your question.
There you go. It's a preface of it. Well, preface, is that what he said?
Yeah, that was...
you're writing the book now. Prequel, yeah, there we go. Now's the sequel.
So the process... We were obviously talking at the beginning of that process when we knew that Sutton were interested in Aggie. We already, as a board, were talking, because eventually these things tend to work out. And so we had 3 routes we could go. One was to continue the strategy, if you like, of where we left off with Aggie, which was to go and hire a new manager into the club that was same criteria as we'd gone through to find Aggie. We didn't advertise the role. We wouldn't have advertised the role. We'd have selected. Same criteria for a manager, things like style of play, possession-based attacking football, probably someone who knew what good looked like in a professional environment, but at the same time had cut their teeth in a non-league management role, because that said things to us about the person, and so on and so on. There was 8 or 9 criteria. We would have gone down that path. Nathan already had a short list. We were ready to go through that process. And if that meant bringing in somebody short-term or finding some help, we would have done that. The second option would have been to have asked an existing member of the support team to start to learn to cut their teeth as a manager, maybe in their first role. And I'm thinking of Dean Hammond as an example. Aaron had committed himself to a playing contract. So that would have been another option. We knew Dean very well. We liked Dean. We know he's going to be a good manager one day. And the third option was Adam, because he was actually available, and we knew we knew Adam well and what he could do at the club and what the club meant to him and what Adam means to us. So we had 3 routes we could go down, and we started exploring all 3. But the first thing we had to do was make sure for the week after Aggie had left that we had managerial cover for the 3 games. And I was thinking 3 games, well, that's 3 weeks. That's fine.
I remember that conversation.
1 week.
Yeah. Actually, it worked out. It was actually only a week, because it was Saturday to Saturday, which
he made
and a bit shortcut by a red card.
Well, he made his impression on management. He got a red card and he won 7-1. So it's not 7-0, was it, or 7-1? 7-0 against Jarvis, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, exactly. Events started to overtake, and so Dean could only manage for the 2 games because was
he already going to Sutton, or was that still not?
No, that wasn't agreed and discued until
that
after.
Is a rumour. You would have seen that he deliberately got that red card to be released early, and I was like, I don't think he would be like that, but
No, not at all. He's a really genuine. You know him. He's a genuine article.
Good guy.
He's going to have a good career in management. He just needs to do it do it, make that jump when he believes he's ready. We were happy. We wanted to have a conversation with him to see whether it was an opportunity. We wanted to explore that with him. He just decided, we didn't have the conversation, but he decided he wasn't quite ready for
Fair enough.
a managerial role. So we didn't have that conversation. And he went to work with Aggie. That's fine. We understood. But equally, we had the other two options. One was to go out to the market and do the interview process and start again. But at the same time, talk to Adam.
So are you pretty much saying Adam was the only person you actually approached from the work at first, and he sort of made it quite a quick process because it's sounding that way?
We hadn't engaged with other clubs to ask permission to talk to managers.
Yeah.
We had done our research. Nathan had done the analytics. We knew the managers that we would want to go and approach based on their stats, based on their reputation. There were some people out there we would like to have chatted to.
Were there any managers that contacted you who were interested in the role?
Oh, yes.
Do you have to put your phone on Do Not Disturb right now? There's one calling him now.
That's what number's
There you go. It's just the perfect timing. The number he doesn't know as well.
Well, that would be my mum.
Get the out of office on the email.
Yeah.
We did. We had a lot of interest, which is flattering again. You know, it's fantastic. And we made sure, I'm pretty sure we got back to each of them after the process to say thank you for your interest. We may have slipped a few, I don't know, but that was definitely the intention.
Obviously, you'd never name names, but were there some interesting names that came to you that you'd be like, wow, that's quite a big person to approach Worthing?
There were some experienced managers. There were names, but that's the thing. We definitely didn't want to hire just based on a name.
Yeah,
so
you said that before. Yeah.
It was a very targeted recruitment process. And in many ways, I think when Sutton did their homework, they came up with certain managers that had the stats. Aggie was up there, same as he was when we found him. So the other person up there with the stats was Adam.
Yeah.
And so we're obviously doing our homework well.
I still think it's quite weird how, like, you know, Adam's out of work and, you know, he's back here again, because none of us really thought it would happen. I mean, were you quite surprised that he accepted it? Like, you know, as we've said, we mentioned it to him in our interview with him, that basically, like, you know, it's not a step back as such, but, you know, he's a National League manager, he's done well in the National League, narrowly avoiding promotion last year. He's been approached by Football League teams. Were you surprised he said yes to Worthing?
No, I wasn't surprised, because I knew that we were not the club that he left.
And that's exactly what he said.
That's what he said, isn't it?
Thank God for that.
But
well, you'll hear the full interview in a bit,
We're taking massive steps on and off.
But he said he's only been away 18 months, and it looks like he's been away 5 years. So much has happened at the club.
Yeah,
his first interview with the club.
Yeah, don't get me wrong here. This is not a foregone conclusion. We needed to have long conversations with Adam. He was keen to talk, as we were, but it was not a foregone conclusion. No. But I wasn't surprised that he was interested to talk to us.
Who mentioned it first? Did you all look at each other in the boardroom and just went, Adam?
Yeah, I think everybody's going to claim that they mentioned it first, but I
well, you're on the microphone now, so you could claim it's yours, and no one would know otherwise. Nathan's not on here. The other guys, George isn't on here, you know. So
I wouldn't do that. But what I will tell you is that Nathan was outstanding in this whole process, in letting managing the process for Aggie to leave, but also bringing Adam in.
He'd be a good poker player, because I said to him that night we were recording, I said, "Oh, you've called Hinch, had you?" He just looked at me as if it looked right through me, as if to say, but I said. and then I asked again. I saw him at Jarvis, and he was like, "Just wait to see what gets announced, and you'll see." And didn't give anything away, so he'd be a good poker player.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you probably had loads of people saying, "Is it going to be Hinch? Is it going to be Hinch?" I mean, even when Hinch left York, people were saying online for no reason at all, because Aggie was still our manager, or the club are going to get him back. It's like, why would they sack him sack Aggie to get Hinch? And there'd be no value in doing that.
It was quite interesting, because actually a lot of people basically said there's no way Hinch, he wouldn't. Yeah,
we said it.
He wouldn't come. You guys probably the same. And
what he's achieved.
It helped deflect the discussions that we were having in a way. It made it easier to some extent. We could do it a little bit more stealth-like, slightly off radar. But when we spoke, I mean, it was clear that neither of us were the same entity. And actually, I think the divorce, if you like, for 18 months has actually made this couple stronger.
Well, do you know one thing? We did mention it earlier. One thing I did like on Saturday's game against Dover, there's a certain former board member that used to be on the board here at Worthing, and I saw you show him around like a proud parent, and that must have been quite a nice thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know who I mean. You know who I mean.
Look what we've done.
He must have been like, wow.
Yeah, no, Dave's a good friend.
Yeah, I know. You've known him for a long time through Loxford and all that days. But it was quite fun. I didn't actually say it. Spencer said hi to him, but I was actually too busy with our mascot. But, you know, I saw, like, when we were in here, I saw you chatting to him and saw him, like, pointing out, like, this is what we've done. Like,
well, I think that's the interesting thing about certainly the way I like to do things is do it and then show rather than the other way around.
You took your bloody time, but you have done it.
Well, I don't know about that.
That is something what Adam said as well, didn't he? In an interview, he said you got people who talk and don't do. You got people who talk and do, and that's what he classed Worthing as: talk and we do.
Yeah, we did it the other way around. We did, and then we're talking. I think it's all about managing expectation, but knowing and believing that you can get there, but not over-promising the world. And you know, I don't like to build a reputation for the club based on what we think we're going to achieve. I want to go and achieve it and then show people. And I think we're able to do that now.
100%. I mean, it was quite nice to showcase him as his first match back against Forest Green Rose on TNT. One of our players played a little bit too well, and we lost him, Temi Babalola. But you know, one of the first contracted players really to leave the club and earn a little bit of money for the club, which must have been nice because we know that you've contracted pretty much most, if not all, the players this season. So that's a good protection thing when you get to this level.
Well, I remember going back 5-6 years. I don't think we had any players on contract at the time when I first came here, and I know what the budget was for playing. And yes, of course, we've got all players. They're assets now, and we have to protect the assets and put them on contract. Interesting, again, Aggie had a strategy this year to bring some players in from a level below because he believed he could develop them. And I think Temi's a great example of that. He had a great start to the season.
Different players.
There are lots of voices when we signed him of like, why are we signing this guy from Billericay who's scored 3 goals last season or whatever his record at the time was. But, you know, there's obviously potential there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Aggie saw that and worked through the full-time model, was able to help him progress. And I know that Temi put a lot of his own time into it.
He did, because he told us. He didn't go on holiday. He kept working. But how does that work when a club comes in for a player? Because, you know, I know in non-league, for my son plays, it's a 7-day approach. You know, but how does it work when Forest Green, when Robbie rings, you said, "Oh yeah, I want to buy the player"?
Or was it in here after the game before he left? He was like, "Right, I need to speak to Temi."
Because that deal happened really quickly as well.
Yeah, it did. Although I do know that they had been monitoring him to some extent.
Oh, had they?
Yeah, they had his name. I think he had a great start to the season, and you can't ignore the goals he was scoring and the coverage he was getting, and he was getting in teams of the week, and that doesn't go out, you know, without attention from teams above. He's in the shop window, and then of course they saw him in the flesh and decided that this is a guy we would like to bring into the club. And of course, we're never a club that's going to stop a player progressing, provided that we get treated fairly, equitably in the deal. And again, it's been a great period of trading for us over the last 18 months. But
last couple of weeks.
with Temi, we got a nice deal. The club were happy with that, to the extent that we knew he was going to move on, and we were going to get compensated fairly, and we were able to use that money to do other things. So,
You mentioned money there, and there's a lot of things going around at the moment that clubs in trouble with the tax people and all that. And because they're spending a lot of money, how are we doing financially? You know, are we stable, or, you know, is a chance that we're not overspending, are we, on anything?
No, the club's in a good place. We don't have, from a balance sheet point of view, we don't have very much debt at all as a club. You obviously that every year you have to post. You're posting in arrears, but you'll see when we post our next accounts, our debt levels are very modest. So we're not stretched. Where we've brought money into the club, it's been through equity. So that just buys shares. It dilutes shareholders, existing shareholders, but it doesn't place debts on the club. And in terms of our expenditure, we've been I say lucky, we've planned revenue growth, and with that revenue growth, we've managed to spend more money each year, which is why you're seeing more staff, more player budgets, bigger squads. I would say we're slightly pushing the envelope forward a little bit more than the income, but that's a good thing. That's not putting us in any situation that's dangerous, but it means that we keep pressing forward and pushing hard against revenue targets.
I think the biggest example is currently Ebbsfleet. For a couple of years ago, they spent so much money, lost a lot of money, and now I think they're paying the price for it.
We are poles apart from clubs that have different financial strategies. We run this as a business, and I don't apologise for that, because I know more than anybody how much, from a community point of view, this club means to people, and we have a responsibility to be a community football club. But we need to have the disciplines of running the club as a business. So you spend what you earn. If you have any debt in the club, you need to be able to make sure you can service it. Equity when it's required. Capital investment is through equity, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we've got the balance right. We just don't want to operate in another world. It might slow down our progress, perhaps, because we're not overextending ourselves. But I think in the end, we'll end up where we want to be, in a more robust position.
Just as we wrap up on Hinch, you must be quite pleased to see, obviously, 3 wins out of 3 in the league. Definitely started well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he couldn't have wanted for a better start in that regard. I think 3 wins out of 3, 2 of them are away from home, but also the performances from the players. There's just, again, nothing that I would say that's disparaging towards Aggie, because I think, as I said, we didn't want him to go. But with Adam back, who's got a higher level of experience in terms of National League and proving itself at the top end, that's coming through in the confidence of some of the players. All round as a club, professional environment, we're full-time. Generally, things are very positive around the place. And because of Adam's experience, he commands respect from players, and I think he's seeing that on the training ground, but also seeing it on the pitch.
Yeah,
and I think his contact book is quite important as well, because we have the issue with Sepp, and then he announced Josh Jeffries is back. And I'm nothing against Aggie, but would he have the same contacts or pool as Adam has to get players in?
Again, one of the constants that we do have, purposely have, is Nathan in all of this. And it's actually Nathan's contact with Josh Jeffries. And we've been monitoring Josh for a while. We would have had him at the beginning of the season if he was fit. You know that. You're a Southampton boy.
No, I'm not a Southampton boy, but I've been in contact with Josh.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Friend.
Football friend.
Yeah, but Adam definitely does have a network of players, and I'm sure that will at some point give us.
Well, now players higher up as well, that he's got to know and stuff.
Sure.
Ollie Pearce.
But also all the existing players have got to go out and prove themselves all again, because they've now got to prove themselves to a new manager that you want to be picking me. Yeah,
it's a great position for Adam to be in, and it's a good opportunity for the players to clean slate to some extent and go and prove themselves.
Now, obviously, you said you mentioned no ifs and buts, but you run the football club like a business, which I think it's important to do, because you can't run it as into the ground just whatever you want. You have to run it sustainably. So we've seen an increase in crowds, year on year. I'm sure you can see that, and FA Cup 3,100, whatever it was on a Tuesday night, which is amazing. I was going to ask you, what are the plans commercially to try and drive that figure up even more? Because it can be done. What are the club doing to get more people down to Woodside Road?
Well, there are a few key strategies to drive revenue. I'll start with maybe the one that's less obvious, which is non-match day income. Mm-hmm. This is an asset that sits here all week, and we don't sweat it hard enough. I mean, look at the room we're in now. It has great potential. You just talked about starting up some of our events.
Podcast studio in that corner there would be really good.
That won't bring too much money. But
no, I'm not paying you for it, Barry. I'm not paying you for it.
And we run this as a business.
Yes, so. I know. I'll let you have a Barry's hour on the podcast then. You can just chat for an hour.
That might work. So non-match day income is a key driver for us. And so Keith and his team spend a bit of time looking at how we do events and how we can attract more income into the club through the non-football environment, and that's growing nicely. We are because of the environment we're now able to create and offer, and the partnerships we can offer sponsors, we believe, and we've seen a really nice, healthy growth in our levels of sponsorship, and I think that can grow further as that network grows, and we give them our sponsors a good experience. I mean, being live on TV for the BBC, for the FA Cup draw on TNT, things like that. You can't buy that.
No, they can't.
And that's been great to offer. Plus the lounge we have here, and the way we have relationships with them now. On the other side of the coin here, you've got the football side of it, where match day income is a key driver still of growth. Average crowds, ultimately, it's about the number of people that attend, because the more that attend, they also then not just spend on the gate, they spend in the bars. Yep. Which is great, and that's a key target for us. I've come across some stats. I'm very keen to look at one area in particular, which is the frequency of visit. There's a lot of people that come to a game that only come once or twice max, and they actually are. A lot of them are local. And if they're predisposed to coming and they've been and experienced the club in its new environment, we think there's a good chance that they might come again if we just engage with them. Yeah. And that engagement might not be visibly in a store in town, but it might be digitally, because we got their address, their email, their phone numbers, so we can contact them and speak to them. So frequency of visit, I think, I'm going to say, don't quote me, I'm going to give this stat out, but it's something like 35% of the people, of the supporters that have been to the ground this year to watch a game, have only watched one game.
Yeah, come for the big games. Let's get them back for the others.
Exactly, but that for me is an opportunity, not a problem. No. And so, how do we encourage that? Yeah. Engagement is one thing, and talking to them and getting feedback, and if they can come twice, then you've doubled their attendance levels.
And talking about that, obviously, you're here tonight to watch the women's team, who successfully went through the first round of the FA Cup for a really good win on Sunday. They've been drawn away to Portchester in round 2. Hopefully they can beat them, get to round 3 and equal last year, and possibly go even further. Now, we know that we've spoken about it before. Obviously, there's not much money in the women's game. The girls are talking about the equal FA Cup. Sunday there was about 100 people here, which is great to see. How I know you said before that's one of the areas you're looking at pushing. We spoke to it at the podcast. You said, how are you going to get that? Because I'd love to see more people coming to the women's game, because there seems finally now, after a new squad, as JC's had problems recruiting over the summer, and they're getting more players and more players now. It'd be great to have the support from the terraces, and it's quite nice. There was a couple of people on Sunday that were like ground hoppers, the women's ground hoppers. There's a little young lad that came. It was his first time at Worthing. He goes around all the WSL2s, all the like step 3, step 4 clubs to try and tick them off, and it's nice to sort of have people like that. But what are you doing as a club to try and drive some more sort of revenue in that respect?
It's piggybacking on the back of the Euros and how popular the WSL's become as well.
Yeah, and obviously this isn't a problem that's unique to Worthing Football Club. No, not at all. This is all over the country, unless you're a WSL team and you've got the backing of those big clubs. I think what we've tried to do, especially with the league we're playing in this year, which makes it really difficult 100%. To attract players. We've had a real battle there with the league, with the FA, to try and reverse decisions and get us back into the South East Division. We've almost we've really looked at the roots, the locality of where we are and what players we think we would like to attract into the club. And we definitely want to make sure that the club is full of young local players playing for Worthing Football Club, certainly at the moment. And that's why I think the development team that we've pulled together is probably the strategy we want to start to adopt. And that extends then into, if local players are playing, then local people will come along as friends, as family. And it is a slow build. Yeah. If you want instant success on that, you're going to be disappointed. But doing something much more local with local players and local networks is one way to go here.
Yeah, because you say about WSL2, even my other team's Charlton. Occasionally I watch the WSL2 matches there. They're top of the league at the moment at the Valley, and there's barely anyone in the Valley on a Sunday as well. So as you say, it's not it's not a problem just at this level, but it's all over. So as a country, how do you drive, people to go in? Because you get all these people that follow the women during the Euros. It's all good. I think one of the problems we've always said is you'll get, obviously football is most popular in this country through men's football. There's no ifs, no buts. But often we've said people are going on a Saturday because, their other halves, their families, let them out on a Saturday, but Sunday's family time. So that's obviously one problem you've got to have as well.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
You've got that consideration. It's difficult.
It is difficult.
It really is difficult. And the revenue isn't there for clubs at our level, certainly with 100 people coming in. And if you could double that to 200, it still wouldn't solve the revenue issues. It's still going to be an investment. So, and then you have to weigh that up and balance it in terms of how that works and what you invest in the women's team versus the men's team. There's always decisions to be made. I will refer you back to, I think, 5 years ago, certainly when I started in my role 6 years ago, we did say, let's progress the women's team. We did get 2 promotions. We are in a better place than we were, but it's not an easy task. I have to say that the group of girls, women that we have now are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Great result on at the weekend in the FA Cup. And it is disappointing that we couldn't get more than 100, but we had 100, which is something to build on.
We sold 3 Mackies, so I was happy about that. Talk about Mackie. What are your thoughts? I know you like Mackie, but is it nice to see like another level of the club? You've now got a club mascot goes around on a match day. You see people sort of like really engage with it. It must be nice from the chairman and the board's point of view to see like finally like Worthing got a mascot that's quite well received.
Yeah, I like the idea of a mascot. I think it's a cracking move. It brings the younger supporters in and they engage with Mackie. I think it's great. It's good character to have around the club's fantastic. And the only disappointment for me, he wears Nike boots, being an Adidas employee.
Well, I mean, if you signed a boot deal with Mackie, I think we could quite arrange. We could do that. So, and I prefer Adidas, but factory decided to send us Nike.
You could be the first person to sign David Beckham and Mackie.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Who needs Predators?
Get some Mackie Predators.
Yeah, Mackie Predators. Well, if you got contacts, Barry, and you get the 3 stripes, I'll change those 3 stripes out. I think even George said about that. He wants 3 stripes, and I was like, well, get me the stripes and we'll put them on.
Well, George and I have had many conversations about Adidas. We're both big fans for different reasons. But just to go back on a question you asked earlier, just something I'd just like to mention about growing our fans here, the number of fans. And we're just talking about the younger supporters. At the moment, we're in the middle of a promotion with schools. I know George has been keen on this himself, and we're working with the marketing team here to introduce schools. This weekend, just gone, we had 100 children who introduced their parents, one of their parents, to bring them along free so they can come and experience the club. Again, it's a chance to get trial. I think this weekend, is this half term?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think this weekend we're doing some sort of half term.
Yeah, the family day on Friday, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the open training.
We've got open training.
Oh, fantastic idea. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And the beauty of the club, our board, is that we're such a small, tight-knit board, we can make a decision quickly on something like that. But the last 3-week period, we've got promotions with schools to bring schools in as well, because I think the younger generation coming in here, experiencing the club, bringing their parents, is definitely another way to go as well.
Well, Barry, that's how I started supporting Charlton, because I grew up in South London. The clubs will come in to schools. They come Millwall. You had Millwall Palace. Thank God I didn't go that way. But, they come in school, give a free ticket out, and they bring to a game, and that's what gets the bug. And hopefully Worthing's at that level now. It's not just a County League stadium. It's a nice pitch. People are going to enjoy coming to a club, and I guess that's what you need to build for the future.
Yeah, for sure. And I was talking to somebody earlier today. One of the things that we do is push hard for growth, for change, progress, and that won't stop. But there's often things that don't get done 100% how you would like them to be done, and you still push for more. And it's a real balancing act, because we want to keep pushing the club forward, and we're going to continue to do that. But sometimes you look back behind you and think, actually, we need to do that bit a little bit differently to be better at that. And I just want to give our listeners, our supporters, the reassurance that we do know not everything's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It won't stop us looking to progress, but we do recognise there are things around the club, around the ground, that we always need to make sure get over the line properly.
And there's one thing we haven't even mentioned yet, something new in the ground.
Scoreboard.
Scoreboard, yeah.
Looks really good. It looks really good.
Bigger than we thought.
It's massive.
Well, funnily enough, that was the reason we haven't put it in any earlier, is because I was very keen to make sure, and as most of the board were as well, that we got the right solution for
right size.
You get the wrong size there, you have to live with it, and we wanted to make sure it was the right size, and we did. We were very patient, and eventually we got it in. It's a big structure, but I think a lot of supporters are really enjoying it, aren't they?
I think it's great, and I think after the game on Saturday we discussed. You think it can do more different things. At the moment, it's a bit static.
Yeah,
but I think I've seen clubs where if somebody gets a yellow card, the player's photo flashes up and there's a yellow card next to it.
Or someone's sitting with a manual that thick that's like the software.
Yeah. Well, the best one is when the screen got hit by a ball and the thing said out on it. I think that's what you need to get.
We've got a lot of options in terms of developing that. There's a lot of software, as you quite rightly say, and the guys are behind the scenes working out what's possible. But there's quite a lot of graphics that we can add to this over time. We just wanted to get it up, running, show the team, show the time. But in time, you will see more features.
I think it's fantastic.
That's good.
I can see it as well from where I was standing.
Yeah. In terms of the stadium, though, like one thing that I was really happy at when we got the new stand over, not Biggsy stand, but the North stand, was a lovely camera gantry. You could get unopposed views of the pitch. But now you've moved the highlights camera back to where you can't see the full game on highlights, which is, I'd say from a fan's point of view, is quite frustrating. Despite being here, I want to watch it, and you get when they're in the corner, you can't quite see it. Why has that happened, and why are you not utilising the gantry? Because I think that's the whole point of the gantry. I thought, that nice proper views of the thing. And now you've got the scoreboard there, you can see that.
Okay, good question. We have to have the gantry to host official live TV games. And so TNT come in, or DAZN when they were if we were in the National League and we were being televised, we have to provide that gantry. We don't have to do it for our own streaming purposes. Yeah. And rightly or wrongly, the board believe that the club is best shown in the best light with the new stand in full view. So pointing at it rather than pointing away from it. So it was more optics than it was anything else for games where we don't have to. But when we are officially televising a fixture, we'll be in the gantry. Yeah,
because I just think it looks obviously nicer. Like even from where you sat up in the box, you know what it's like when you see the ball in the corner. You have to sort of stand up, look over, or the pole's in the way. So that's interesting because I was quite surprised because last season you did do all the highlights from that side. Now it's changed back again.
We did, and I just. With that beautiful stand, that's the number of people, the atmosphere in that stand, and it was just we needed to capture it, and we weren't capturing it. So
maybe 2 cameras,
2 scoreboards.
No, 2 cameras, 2 cameras to start with. Maybe one either side. I don't know. It's just.
Oh, you don't ask for much, do you? You're worse than me. Worse than me.
Well,
multi-ball. Remember that red button on Sky? Multi-ball. You go one from behind the goal.
It's like getting the fan commentary.
Oh no. Yeah, God. So. Talk about stadium before we let you go, Barry. Any sort of things that we'll see soon, or is the sort of ground sort of as it is for the time being? Because I know you did say, we joked before in the pubcast that now the shed end looks like the worst lit part of Woodside Road now, but which it used to look one of the best stands. So is there any sort of plans in the near future or sort of the next year or so that you might see changing that you can tell us?
I think what we've managed to do, which was always our ambition, was to get the stadium, and I can call it a stadium now, I think, fit for purpose for National League. That's pretty much done.
Yeah.
I don't think we should push ourselves, back to that sort of proper management of our finances. I don't think we should push ourselves to do things that we don't need to do. Mm-hmm. But we know we can go into the National League with some adaptation. I know we've got to get higher lux levels with the floodlights.
Oh, really? Okay.
A few little bits and pieces to play in the National League, not where we are. But getting the capacity we have now for in and out of the ground at over 4,000 was key. That's why the stand's where it's at. There isn't much more we need to do. And we're going to stick, when it comes to the ground itself and the infrastructure, we're going to stick with where we are at the moment. We'd love to go and spend money on other things, but we don't need to do those things, and there are other priorities that we think we have. For example, the supporter experience. I know we've got the fan zone open eventually, and it's great in there. Good, yeah. And we want to continue to improve the fan experience. There's nothing I could tell you at the moment that we have live that is in a place where we could talk about it, but I think we're in a good position.
It's a fan zone, that thing that I remember speaking to at Potter's Bar away back in Ispin League that time, and you said, I would love to see something like this at Woodside. This is what you imagine, but better, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Do you remember that conversation?
I do remember.
I think it was a January or something where they used those old, it was those old German market stands, weren't they used after cricket. And then I remember you always saying to me, God, I'd love this at Woodside. I was like, well, you're the man that can make it happen.
Yeah.
And he's done it.
Yeah. But if you think, a lot has happened in the last 2 years, 2.5 years.
It has,
a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
We did. We planned for 2 years prior to that. If you remember, when I got involved here, we initially had the project with the floodlights and other bits around the ground through the fundraiser, which was fantastic, with the new where are we? Northeast corner for food and beverage and toilets, upgrading that area. But a lot of things went into planning at that point, and we had to wait patiently for 18 months, raise the money, get the grants, do the drawings, and then now you see the fruits of that work, that labour. And
he's got his eyes on the Bowls Club next door.
We're so proud of.
I'd love to.
We're so proud of where we're at now.
Yeah.
I think you should be, but also the club. Supporters should be.
We as a club are.
I think it's it's an experience now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's good, and you see people coming back. You hear, like, obviously when we're doing sports association stuff, and if it's not segregated, we're playing a team, like we play people coming and go, bloody hell, this place has changed. Even people coming back, they haven't been for a while, and it's quite nice to hear that. So well done. I mean, you just got to get that burger sorted now, and we'll be happy. I don't have to nag you about anything.
I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah, there we go. Right.
There will be something.
And just Barry, before we end it, before we go out and watch the women's game in the nice cold autumn nights, is there anything else you wanted to mention on the podcast? It's your open mic time. Barry's open mic. That could be a new new thing. Barry's open mic.
He's not coming back again this season.
Barry's open mic. Yeah, there we go.
I'd like a new mic.
Yeah, he's ignoring you there.
No, he's ignoring it. There we go. I'll get you a new mic. Unless you want to purchase one and we call it Barry's mic. Get a red one instead. That's just for the guest, the Barry's mic. There we go.
But you know what, James? The one thing I would like to just comment on is our support, because we are seeing record numbers coming to see games. The atmosphere that we're creating around the ground with all ages, genders, it's fantastic, and this club cannot progress without more people coming to watch us. So I just want to thank, and I know this might sound as if I have to say it, but I don't.
You don't.
I want to say thank you, and I know how much it means to the whole of the board and everyone in terms of the staff connected with the club at senior level here. We're very, very grateful for all the support we get, the work you guys do in promoting the club as well.
Thank you.
And it's with that support that we're able to keep growing, and it's without that support we wouldn't be able to keep growing.
Well, I think we should have a beer at the end of the season, have another podcast. Is that all right? Do we get you in the diary now?
We can do that.
I don't know what it is. It might be playoffs later. It might be promotion party. Who knows? Let's speak ahead of the game there. But let's do it again. Let's have a beer in the summer.
You can take that gun away from his head as well.
Yeah, okay. We undo the handcuffs now. He's out. They have to go out and watch the game. But Barry Hunter, thank you for coming on the Rebel Yell podcast.
Cheers, Barry.
Cheers, Barry.
He better bloody not make me editing anything out. I swear to God, Barry Hunter, I've got an early start in the morning as it is. If you make me edit anything, if I get a text later...
Has Barry even just been on, or has he just said, no, can you just cancel my bet?
Yeah, he's just cancelled, exactly. Get to erase it. Yeah, if you don't hear it, Barry said, cancel the whole interview. If you make me edit anything, Barry, that seaside burger better come bloody soon, chaps.
The Mackie burger.
No, don't you dare talk about Mackie. My baby Mackie.
It's got to come in a sub roll with a head out of one end and a tail out the other.
Actually, Jelly Cat, those teddy bears, like those over-the-top collectibles, we should get a roll and put a Mackie in the middle of it now, and then we can present it in a fish box. Have you seen them?
No.
Have a look at Jelly Cat. They've got a store up in London, and you get fish and chips, so they pretend you get chips. There's a chip-shaped one. Put the chips in, and you get batter fish one.
We've got the cuddly Mackies now.
Yeah. How much are they, Spencer?
£10 available from the Sports Association. Get the plug in.
Get the badge in, get the plug in.
Get one of those and just stick it in a bap.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. There we go, there we go. But Barry, as per usual, very interesting, insightful. And you asked for it, we got it. A couple of you asked on social media if we could get Barry on. Obviously, it was too late because we were recording on the day Aggie left last month. But he said as soon as we texted him, said, "Would you come on?" You're absolutely fine. No problem.
A real insight there.
Yeah, it's good.
Very open as always.
Yeah,
it's
really good. Well, I know what everyone's really waiting for, and it isn't us three speaking on the microphone.
What?
There's a certain there's a certain bald-headed fellow.
Not you.
Not with a stunning beard like myself. He's got stubble, I'd say. A bit better with stubble. He should grow a beard out like me.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, it's getting weird. Anyway, should we talk to Adam Hinch? We split the end. Me and Jacko sat down with Merley because he's had to drive up to York tonight to sort of dot the I's, cross the T's, and put the end to his reign up in York, sort of housing and stuff. So he's up there, but he sat down with me and Jacko earlier. Spencer was too busy doing real jobs, real work, weren't you? So unfortunately, you weren't here.
I know, Tuesday in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I know. What bloody hell, you know? How can they do that? But get ready to listen to part one, where Hinch talks about his time up in York, how it came about, and how it came to an ultimate end.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
I think this takes the time we actually have to pull this man up, because last time we prepared a podcast with Adam, he had a cold, and he sent Aaron in. Do you remember? No, you sent Aaron, and that was the last time we could ever have had you on the podcast. Following week, you buggered off. So,
apologies.
What do you have to say about yourself?
No, apologies.
Well, it was a bit of an interesting one, because it was like that last one we did with when you were still here. We didn't expect anything, and then following week, it all went sort of escalate so quickly, and you'd departed to York. So I guess firstly, welcome back. It's nice to be back here with you, and I'm quite surprised to say. How did it come about?
No, like football's crazy, isn't it? How quickly it sort of all materialised to firstly go to York, and then thought we was part of a long-term project that we was in the mix of.
Well, let's
and
stop you there. Like you say, long-term project. So obviously you went up there. You wouldn't move the whole family. You know, obviously your wife, you had kids and schools. It's not exactly just moving around the corner, is it? So it must have taken a lot in the first place for you to actually say, yeah, let's do it. But obviously it was in a sort of aspect of progressing your career, I assume.
Yeah, that's it. I think I was quite honest with the club and said, look, I had aspirations of working full-time and being a full-time manager, and you know, obviously I was full-time here, but it was working in different roles with the youth team, and I just wanted to, if the opportunity presented itself, to work with one team on a full-time sort of basis, and like I said, that come around very quickly. But yeah, it wasn't an easy decision, because even on the journey up to York, I didn't realise how far it actually was north.
I could have told you that.
Yeah.
Did you drive, or were you on a train? Or?
No, yeah. So me, Gaz and Cam got picked up. It was a Tuesday night. We met the boys here, told them and wished them all the best, and then jumped in a like a 7-seater thing and drove up there, and it just seemed to go on forever. But yeah, that initial conversation with my wife, and you know, I said, "Oh, is it the right time?" And we had kids were. Lila was doing her GCSEs and stuff like that, so was it the right time for her? And she just sort of come back and said, like, if it's good for your career, and there might never be a right time for the kids.
Just to say, there's never a right time for unsettling your family, isn't there? Whatever happens, you can always put it off with your family, and you never go anywhere.
That's it, yeah. So it just felt, you know, I thought I was quite well known in Sussex, but not nowhere else, and the opportunity to go into the National League and be full-time, and, you know, a real big established club, just felt it was the right time to do that, and to fall back into the family. They really settled and loved the city. It's a beautiful part of the world. Recommend anyone in the next few weeks. The Christmas market will be up there, so to go up there during the week, it's chaos, but it's a beautiful sight. To be fair, to go and do it. And it's a beautiful city. It was really settled, and you know, then 4 games in, got the news.
And what was it like, where you sort of obviously you moved up? You've been at Worthing for how many years? Have you been in the second stint? Was it 7 years or something?
Yeah, something like that.
So it must have been weird when you looked at yourself in the mirror and you're not wearing Worthing kit to go into work and stuff. I mean, what was that sort of first few days like up at York?
Yeah,
was it really strange?
It was weird.
Yeah.
You know, putting on Puma gear instead of you know, the Macron stuff.
Did it fit better on you, though?
Yeah, not really.
Well, they were the bloody same, you know, like this skin fit crap that they give us.
Dumb about that, to be honest. But it's all that's weird, and seeing a different badge and going into a completely different new environment. You know, obviously Worthing, everything's based here at the stadium, and they've got a separate training ground and just little things like that you got to get used to. And but
lovely stadium up there as well.
It's a massive club. It's sort of like a bit of a sort of goldfish bowl. There's one club city, and you know, the whole city feels like they do get behind you on a match day.
Yeah.
And, it was good. I got nothing but positive things to say about the city, the fans, and everything, and he didn't take to us at first. But
well, that's the thing. I just think this shows how fickle football fans are. You have an opportunity to progress. It's not going to happen that season, but you kept them up. But literally, it wasn't good enough. Almost, it expected you to be promoted into League Two, despite when you joined them in the position. So that must have been so frustrating. It must have been the first time in your career that you've really experienced that such negativity.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of the first few weeks, we wasn't very good. We was poor, and the results matched that. And we got a real big hiding at Altrincham 6-1, and that was the sort of catalyst. Really, we sort of said we tried to come up with a style to be competitive and win games, and sort of made a decision after watching that game back that we're going to stick to our beliefs, and if we are going to go down, it's playing football our way and what we believe in, and that would be the thing I've learned. You've got to stick to those beliefs and those values, and we probably stepped away from it a little bit when we first went there to try and just get some results on the board, and a big heavy defeat like that was the catalyst. And the next game at home, we got a last minute winner. Brought Lionel John Lewis, who's a bit of a legend. He come on and scored a header for us last minute, and the belief and everything that gave everybody, and went on a good run that season. We beat who was it? Bromley away, who got promoted. We beat Chesterfield, who were the champions at home.
I remember that. That was on TV, that one, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a good
So we had a couple of big results. It wasn't just
Yeah.
playing teams in around us, but we had some big results and clawed it back towards the end of the season.
So when you left us here, you left us in a really good position with obviously Buddy, Aaron and Dino taking over to take us, and obviously we got to the playoff final. I'm sure you watched that on TV and you must have felt absolutely gutted. Gutted as much that you managed to ram raid half our squad and take them up north with us, didn't you, Hinch? But,
that's it.
But I mean, we look at it, it was like, Ollie, I mean, you must be so proud to think, everyone was like, can he do it at that level? And boy, he done it.
He proved it, didn't he?
I mean, amazing. Did you ever expect him to hit the ground running like that, or did you obviously always had the faith?
Yeah, I think that game really. I watched that game back, and I thought the two strikers were excellent, and I think Ollie was just unplayable on the day. Every time we got it, it looked like something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And his goal was unbelievable, like the ball over the top and brought it down.
Yeah, and then
finished.
into the side.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And like him, Joe, Harrison, and stuff like that. He's taken them to a big club. He's taken them away, but similar, like had full belief that they could step up, and it didn't start brilliant for Ollie.
No.
I think it took him a while to find his feet, but I knew what an intelligent player he was, and it wasn't long before he then gets in those runs that he gets into, where goals just seem to come at ease, and there's only one person you want on the end of an opportunity when he's like that.
Isn't it typical Ollie though? He always starts every season. He starts off very slowly,
Yeah.
and he seems to catch up.
Yeah.
It's Christmas. He gets into his rhythm,
Definitely.
and then it starts for him.
I think remember we played Torquay and he was on the bench, come off the bench and scored. There's always that time of the season where you have to just.
Well, I always remember it's Slough away. He was so pissed off that you had benched him for that game, and I don't know if you deliberately did it, but it seemed that you do that, and he realises he isn't unstoppable and he isn't unplayable, and it almost fires him up. And I don't know, is that what you sort of always did?
Yeah,
with him?
I think sometimes with Ollie, there comes a time in the season where he stops running, and when he stops running, that's when he's not his best, and that's when he needs to. And I've known him well enough to know that. Right, out you come, and know that I fire him up a little bit, and then he get back to running hard. And he might not be taking chances, but all the time he's working and running hard, then he's a different kind of player. I think all gets said about his finishing, but he also leads the line brilliantly, and I think sometimes that stops, and you have to just remind him.
So your first full season at York was a season to remember. The fans came on your side. I mean, you even see that now. We've seen it since you left. They could not believe they got rid of you. They got rid of you, and they were gutted. You see all the things, which is ironic when he first came. Like, who's this? And now they're like, oh, I can't believe Hinch is going. That's it. You missed out on the playoffs, very frustrating. Barnet, again, that sort of one-up automatic promotion, which really needs to change because it should have been both of you. And I know the Uglers put a statement out saying, it should be 2 up and 1 promoted side through the playoffs. So, I mean, that must have been so bloody frustrating because Barnet were, again, on form. And if it hadn't been for Barnet being on form, you probably would have been in League 2, wouldn't you?
No, that's it, yeah. And, that was obviously... we was all desperate for that to happen. Such a big club and a one-club city, and we wanted to try and do all we could to get them back in the Football League. And we had a right good go at it, and our form towards the end of the season was excellent. We was playing some of the best football, and then I think it was just a 2-week period. So that 2-week period sort of killed us a bit. It's got to be looked at really. That
you want to have the momentum keep going, don't you?
I was going to say the 2-week period. I think that killed.
Didn't know what to do really with the players, whether to give them a break, whether because it's a long season, or whether you keep them going and keep them training, whether you get a in-house match. We tried to have an in-house match at the stadium, and and with that, Oldham had an unbelievable game. We went and watched it. They just blew Halifax away, and the momentum that they gained from that game, it was always going to be hard for us because. We haven't played and they've got some momentum now. There was a full house. They were 3-0 up. The place was absolutely rocking. And we knew that they was going to bring that momentum with them. Yeah. And then we made a couple of mistakes and, we wasn't very good on the night. But in a one-off game when a team's got momentum going into it, that's what can happen.
Yeah, so obviously you didn't get promoted. There was, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but there was a lot of talk on the social media and stuff over the summer that you were leaving. There was weird statements being put out by the club saying, no, Adam's not leaving, but there were all the forums and stuff saying, well, apparently he's going. So was that unsettling for you? And I guess there was never any intention of you leaving in that summer. I guess you were just planning for the new season.
Yeah, so there was a statement put out which I didn't agree with because it was almost like that I turned a new contract down and I was looking for Football League opportunities, which definitely wasn't the case. I was really happy. I was close to buying a house up in the city. That's how settled I was with the family. And, I thought that was, not true. So the truth of the matter is that a club come in for me and I turned it down because I wanted to stay. It was about this sort of time, really, last year. I was new into the project at York. We just got our teeth into it. The team was going well. And it was a League One opportunity, but I wanted to stay loyal. And with that, a new contract was put in front of me, but it was just better terms. It wasn't actually a new contract. It wasn't longer terms. It was more a case of the club was looking after themselves that if I was to leave, I could have left for less than what York paid Worthing for me. So they wanted that changed in the contract rather than me. Sort of thing, if I'd signed the contract, I'd have been on much better money. So I actually saved the club money by not signing it. And I've never been one to go anywhere for the money. I think it's got to be right. And I wanted to show some loyalty to the club because
it doesn't work though.
I was new to the project and. If I just wanted to go jump to the highest level as quick as I could, then I would have took this opportunity and got into League One. But I wanted to stay loyal, and I thought we got a good group together. I was loving being at the club. I was loving my work, and things just seemed to go a bit sour, and the relationship between me and the owner sort of break down.
So can we talk about how it ended, or would you want to talk about how it ended? Because obviously it seemed quite. So was it 4 games into the season? You said, and did it come at a surprise after a game? Like what happened? I mean, if you don't want to talk about it,
no, it's fine. I've got nothing to hide. I think we had a bit of some words were exchanged between me and the owners in the summer. He didn't agree with 1 or 2 things. I didn't agree with 1 or 2 things he was trying to do, but sort of got. Differences put to one side, and I was desperate to try and make it work because my family was settled and was buying a house, and I probably, in hindsight, should have stuck to my beliefs and my principles as a person. But I was trying to, go along with the way they wanted it. To like I say, because family was settled, I didn't want to, uproot them. If I didn't have to. But it was tough. We drew the first game to John Sutton, who we always seem to struggle against, but our performance was excellent. Probably one of the best performances I've ever had as a manager, let alone at York or at Worthing. It was a great performance. We drew 2-2, a couple of things we could have put right. And then we had 3 away games on the bounce where we couldn't play games at home. We had to play them all away.
Why is that? Is it the stadium problem?
The Women's Rugby World Cup was at the stadium.
Oh, quite, yeah.
So
sounds like when Worthing was it last season or something?
It was disruptive. Any team that has to do it. I think like Bognor found it this year. They're playing at Chai at the moment, and You play away
us
from
last
home.
year. We had the stand being built, and we were away for like Western and all the West Country.
8 away games, wasn't it?
Disrupts your season a little bit, doesn't it? And we was on the road. We travelled to Truro, really blustery, windy day. I think we left at 9 o'clock from York and got to training at Plymouth at 6:30. Got to the hotel at 8, and then we had an hour from Plymouth to get to Truro the next day. So it was a long old. Managed to get a 2-0 win. Again, not a brilliant performance, but it was good enough, in the conditions and everything. We drew with Southend, who were up there, sort of cancelled each other out a bit, and then drew with Woking, who had just lost 4 on a bounce. They've got their old manager up against someone, so they had a bit on it to prove. They got a goal ahead, and it was just one of those. It's just difficult, these games away from home, and we started with a win and 3 draws. We was undefeated for the season. I don't think I've lost a league game since March at all clubs, and we're now heading into November. It seemed a bit harsh, but that's how they want the club to run, and that's up to them. And I've got big.
So is it after? So it was after the Woking game. Was it when you were back at York, or was it sort of that night?
Yeah.
Did you get any suspicions?
Not really. The only thing was a few of the lads, about 12 of the boys, all pulled me down. There was a gym that we could use. They was all there, and one of the lads had got a message from the chairman to go around his house. So 12 of them said, "Look, we're unhappy with having this information, and we would like you to know that ex-player." I just got a message saying...
an ex-player, yeah.
No, a player, but player X. Yeah.
Without naming names.
Yeah. Won't name names. But he got a message saying, "Can you come round to my
That must
house?"
have pissed you off, though.
So I was like, I really do appreciate it. Like, the loyalty that the lads have all showed me, it was unbelievable. And, did touch, a feeling, and thought, bloody hell, we was onto something good here, because for them to do that for me. But, yeah, I still like, it could be anything. He could be calling around for anything, any reason, and then Gary come out and he said he's just had a meeting with the owners and they're going to sack me and Cam, and he told me that about half an hour after the boys had warned me of that message that he's going to sack me. And
but in any sort of, it doesn't matter if it's football or anything like that. I always think, why hide behind someone? I mean, be honest up front for you. Like, Hinch, I want to come for a meeting with you. Don't text the player. Like, what's the benefit of doing that?
Yeah,
I don't get that. That just seems to be that he doesn't respect you as his coach. And that, even if it hadn't resulted in you being sacked, that must have been one of the things thinking, can I still continue a relationship with this man if he's texting my own players behind my back?
Yeah, and I think the relationship broke down. He was getting us in at like 7:30 on like Monday morning and going through and nitpicking our performances and stuff like that. And
and has Matt Ugler ever been a football
player? Him and a player and another player, and
was it that way that Peter Crouch calls them parched? Do you ever hear that saying, parched? They're like either with the manager, like they're a suck up to the manager, so they'd be a suck up to the chairman. There's a parched player there.
So anyway, they was nitpicking our performances and just felt quite undermined. But I think in hindsight I should have told him how it was, but like I say, I was trying to do all I could to love my time at the club and wanted to try and make it right. But
I mean, it sounds like from you just chatting to us now and what I've read about the Uglers, it sounds like it's exactly what it's almost like what said people you see online is actually true. They seem to be crazy owners that just want instant success, and without any sort of like loyalty or long-term progress, they're not going to get that, are they?
I don't think that's the way a football club runs. But listen, who am I if they?
I think the proof is in the pudding here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your second spell was 7 years, and you said it yourself in your interview. You've been away for 18 months, but it looks like 5 years.
Yeah.
As far as the club has gone,
yeah.
New ground.
Well, I mean, let's leave York in the past because we're not here to talk about York. It's interesting to speak about, the fans won't have heard that. It's nice to hear yours.
I don't want to speak bad of anyone, how they run the club.
Speaking off, Mike, it looks like you've had a nice time up there. Your family have enjoyed it. It's a lovely place. It's just a shame, like any job, it hasn't worked out for where it was, and there's no real reason why it hasn't worked. It's not like you're in the relegation zone.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
That was very interesting from Hinch, talking about his sort of overall
time in York.
Time in York. It sounded like he didn't really have a bad word to say about being up in York, did he?
I think the only bad thing he had to say, how far north it was.
that was funny. Yeah, when he literally him and the team got picked up from here and drove up to York, and he didn't realise how bloody far it was. And you said, didn't you, when you saw Tracy one time, his wife?
Yeah, it was the first time when they'd come back that first weekend after his silence. He goes, if only I'd known how far away it was.
Yeah, it's quite funny, isn't it?
I'm sure he's probably not too keen on their Duke either.
Oh, for God's sake.
Topical.
Yeah, very topical.
There you go, yeah.
But I thought it was very good insight, what Adam and how it all went for him in York.
Well, it's interesting to hear about the Ugglers from first hand, because you see about them online and you see what head cases they can be, and we just heard it first hand.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, but York's loss is our game, because if you saw when he signed for us again, so many York fans are on there going, I can't believe we've let him go, he's a brilliant manager.
Well, even when it got announced that he got sacked or left York, whatever you want to call it, the amount of people surprised that he left, that he went.
Yeah, but it's great to have him back and great insight. We'll get up with part 2 of the interview later on, but as promised, we've got Jon Meeney, who or Bruce Forsyth, as you might understand, after the interview. But Jon Meeney's signed on as his assistant manager. And one thing I was going to say about Hinch, I don't think he's in charge of the youth this time, is he? I don't think that wasn't announced.
I believe his actual title is first team manager.
Yeah, not in charge of youth setup. Like Aggie was part of that, wasn't he? And so they've obviously moved on. That was maybe one of the things Hinch said coming back.
But it looks like a clear.
I meant to ask him actually, but it'd be interesting to see next time. I'll get clarity from someone, but I think he's just overseeing first year. But his first team assistant manager, Jon Meeney.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
Well, welcome to the Rebel Yell Podcast, Jon Meeney. We were going to try and get you on before you left to go to Hastings with Gary, but you left in too quick a hurry. But you're back now.
There's a bit of theme that people leave.
Yeah, it's like Hinch did it. I mean, Aggie did it. Now it's here. But welcome to Irvine as the assistant manager to Hinch now, am I understanding?
Yeah, back here. Obviously had many roles in the past, but yeah, really pleased to be back. And Hinch's assistant, obviously getting the band back together and... hopefully we can help take the team, the club, forward again.
So if you don't mind me asking, how did it obviously happen? Because obviously when the old Sutton manager left, you took over as sort of interim in that, and then you left. Were you possibly going to be Aggie's assistant manager, or were you always planning to leave when the sort of thing was it sort of thing? Or it's a bit of a difficult, is that an open-ended question here? Like maybe no comment?
No, I'd never, look, I'm as honest as they come.
Yeah.
Look, first and foremost, it was never my intention at the very start to leave Sutton. Mm-hmm. I really loved my time there. Had a real good connection with the fans, the people internally. Yeah. Also the way that they welcomed my family into the club. Unfortunate circumstances when the gaffer, Steve Morrison, got the sack. I was then put in a difficult position where ultimately they didn't want to sack me. And, usually when you're someone's assistant and the manager gets, I'm a loyal person, you leave as well. But the club put faith in me and asked me to look after the team in the interim, which I did. The boys deserved that at Sutton. The players were brilliant to me, had a really good relationship with them. And we found ourselves in a difficult period. And ultimately, it was just trying to get them to believe in their ability, steady the ship, make them more defensively solid, as well as trying to make a few subtle tweaks, because ultimately what we were doing wasn't working. That's why Sutton are in the position that they are. And yeah, we made some progress when I was there. Again, I had a remit, and within that, the club were actively looking for a manager. And these talks were taking place while I was obviously looking after loads of things at Sutton, doing a lot of things on my own with the staff that remained there, not many. And then things just accelerated after the 4 games that I had there as the interim head coach. This wasn't planned. This wasn't planned. When Aggie was appointed as the manager with the rest of the staff, it wasn't my intention to come back to Worthing. I'll be honest, my intention was to take the family away on holiday.
How rude, Worthing have to ruin that. Well, you're on the sunny South Coast, mate, aren't you?
Absolutely. No, it was more so, do you know what, I was physically and mentally flogged.
Yeah.
Because anyone that knows me, I live and breathe it every single day. And
funny, somebody mentioned that on Saturday, I think, in the stands. They said if they meet you outside the football ground, the only thing you talk about is football.
Yeah, no, that's.
And I don't think they meant it negative.
That's me. That's me. And look, if you're going to do something right, you do it to the best of your ability, and you leave it all out there. And all I want is, as I always say, I ask the players to be their best version. It's about me being my best version. And ultimately, look, I know we sidetracked. I gave it all to the Sutton group while I was there. I was a bit physically and mentally flogged. I had an agreement with the board there that when the new manager was appointed, I wanted to depart. It was my decision to leave. I never had a phone conversation with Aggie. I never had any conversations with any of the other managers that interviewed at Sutton. I was just like tunnel vision, do what my remit was. And then ultimately, when Aggie was appointed, it was, thank you, John. They allowed me to move on. Obviously, have an agreement in my contract. And then, like I say, I was looking to take the family away. And then before I took this, everything happened very quickly. In the space of 48 hours, I had 3 offers.
Oh, my God.
I had 3 offers. I turned down another club in a higher division because ultimately I had the feeling. When Hinch and I had that conversation about, hang on, should we go back to Worthing? And I came down here, I looked around, it blew me away, seeing how far the club's come, the infrastructure. I know the fan base. I know the people behind the scenes. I believe in the squad, and ultimately, I spoke to my wife. Obviously, I'm a proud. I want
to go on holiday.
Yeah, I'm a proud dad to little Lorenzo, and
that's a nice photo.
Look,
on Saturday.
He at the end of the day, it's I've never had to think about being a dad or being a husband when I make these decisions, and ultimately, this was right for the family, but also. Worthing's right for me at this moment in time, and while I'm here with Hinch, we'll do the best we can.
Can I ask you a question? There was rumours that you were incognito at Jarvis Brook. Was that true? Were you down at Jarvis Brook with that cup name?
No.
Oh no, because I got a rumour that someone saw you watching the game, sort of in the corner, all like hidden in the corner.
I think people try and be a bit clever. People try and make a story. Yeah. I was being tagged in on my social media platforms that I was going to go to Brighton Women's as assistant manager. And I've got people messaging me saying, congratulations. And it was news to me. Like I say, I was looking at EasyJet flights.
Isn't it funny how social media works, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like people just talk shit on the internet just for no reason, and they start these rumours. And but sometimes you think, you've seen it on all the Worthing forums, before we hired Agatha, like the amount of people that were linked, and he's definitely. I've just seen him down at Woodside. Have you though? Have you seen him at Woodside?
The biggest one was Mark Beard, wasn't he?
Yeah, Mark Beard.
And it turned out he was here for complete different
reasons. He was here for his son.
He was here for his son.
I also saw one because you get sent things, and someone thought I was here earlier in the season. Watching a game, and I think I only came to 2 games last year because, like I say, all of this.
You must have a doppelganger then. You must do. Someone's seen you here, someone's seen you at Jarvis Brook. We got a doppelganger, mate.
I don't know. I think they probably just see me popping into Love at First Bite because that's where my mum works. They live down the road. I'm living in Lancing. My mum works at Love at First Bite. I think she knows more that goes on than I do.
Yeah, there you go. So have you found? I mean. Looking at you on the pitch after the game, we can see the passion, with the fans. You're already endeared to them anyway, but you can see how much they respect you and love you coming up and doing your celebration with them after a win. How have you settled in? Because obviously the club has changed significantly since you were last here. It must be almost like we're at a full-time model now, almost.
No, I've absolutely loved it. No, look, I'm an energetic, passionate individual. I love football. I love football, but I love also what football brings. It unites everyone socially, and I think if you're conducting yourself correctly as a person, I think people buy into it even more. So I pride myself on that, as well as obviously my experience and my knowledge in what I do. Regarding the club, as I said in my first interview, it matches me as a person and as a coach. And I think when you fully believe in something, it allows you to give more. It allows you to want to give more. And that's certainly what I'm finding with this club. It always had a special place in my heart, but I'm also one of those. I was having a conversation last night with someone, and I was like, as much as you've got the nice sentiment regarding obviously us returning, we're here to do a job. I can't it's nice, and we've won 3 games on the spin. We need to be better. We need to be better. Yeah. We will be better. We will implement our principles. We want to take this club to the next level. We don't just mean the next level within the football pyramid. We mean the next level internally. Football's football to me. You know, the game never changes. The principles of football never change. Obviously, we have a way of working that we fully believe in, Hinch and I, and what we believe is the skill set of the group. And ultimately, we want to win games of football. We want to do it playing a style of play that we feel is best suited to the players and our beliefs and the tradition of Worthing Football Club. And we want to do it and we will do it.
So obviously Hinch got in touch with you to come as assistant manager. Obviously you know each other through Worthing, Sussex and stuff like that. But how is it like becoming sort of a management team together? Because obviously you've both got your different styles and techniques. Obviously Hinch is the overall gaffer. You've had experience as being assistant manager and managers of clubs. How does that how do you gel that into one sort of goal?
Look, first and foremost, my role is to best support Hinch. Yeah. I understand the emotions and the things that he goes through because I've seen that firsthand. Again, I believe I'm very self-aware. I'm not a manager. As you've seen today, you see what I do out on the grass. Sorry, 3G. You see how I operate Monday to Friday, how hands-on I am. Mm-hmm. With Hinch, we both enjoy our coaching so much, wanting to improve the individuals and the collective group. We're both out there, full throttle within our coaching, within the analysis, pre-match, post-match, pre-training session, post-training session, to try and educate the players. And ultimately, I just play the role to my skill set the best I can. Hinch has made me feel very empowered, very valued. I have certain roles, he has certain roles. We just communicate. If he likes something, great. If he doesn't like something, he'll tell me. You know, we find solutions together. If there's a problem, we come up with the solutions. We just communicate. At the end of the day, it's about us best serving the players so they can be their best version come 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So it's honest conversations. We understand each other's roles. We understand how we both behave and also what we're both good at. So what Hinch is good at, maybe I'm not so good at, or vice versa. And that's what I think makes a healthy management team, just like the rest of the staff that we've got.
No, well, I mean, I'm so just chatting to you just shows you live, breathe, and so passionate about football. It's amazing, and I love it.
Because I think whatever you said now, I think you could see that because we're standing behind the home dugout, and your passion.
I apologise for that in advance if he starts kicking off.
I never kick off.
I've been called worse over the years.
No, but think about your passion.
You won't not hear him. Let me just say that you'll recognise his voice. Oh, that's Jacko again. There we go.
No, but your passion it really shows through throughout the game, and I think you almost talk more than Hinch during the game, instructing the players.
Look. At the end of the day, do you know what? It's one of those again. You can talk about commentating during the game. It's there just to drive the players on. You know, they see a viewpoint from inside the arena. I see another viewpoint. Obviously outside of it, it allows Hinch to zoom out and see maybe things, and then he can zoom in. And when he's commentating or directing and supporting the players, it's my opportunity to sit down. Again, we have certain roles and responsibilities that we look after on a match day. If that's in possession, out of possession, set pieces, substitutes coming on to impact the game positively, different game states. And it's just we have control on what we're doing. We have real clarity, and it's just there to best serve obviously the players. One thing I do is make a lot of noise, but it's also very important that a lot of the time it's just not following the play or looking at the ball. It's actually just organising the people sort of around and away from the ball. So you're always not impacting their decision making on the ball. So it's more so you'll hear me looking a lot on the lock-up, making sure that we've got balance, we've got security, because it's always players furthest away from the game that are the ones that switch off. Yeah. If that's maybe getting an easy tap in around the back post, or not tracking their run, or playing someone offside. So it's very easy to get caught up in the game. But I think it's important to look away from the ball to make sure people are staying tuned in.
No, well, fantastic. I think we got a question to ask you, though, because you're not new to Worthing FC, but you're new to the Rebel Yell podcast. So, Jacko, do you want to ask the famous words?
Have you got anything unusual about yourself?
An interesting fact.
Interesting fact, unusual.
Try and make it out of football, because I'm sure you got loads of stories about football. Anything when you're younger?
That's interesting.
Well, anything shut him up.
Anything outside of football.
Oh, we in the past had a player had a kidney missing.
Really?
Yeah, one of the women's team last year. Or the year
wasn't there
before,
somebody who dated a pop star?
Yeah, well, he claims he did.
He claimed he did.
A member of staff here dated a pop star. You can dig that. Model.
Model.
That's what he says anyway. Yet to see proof.
I don't know. No, I'm not going to lie, guys. I think you've...
Or something interesting about yourself. Or a trick or something you could do that's, your party piece.
My party piece.
There you go.
Now you got me. I do a decent Bruce Forsyth impression.
Well, we haven't got a camera, so it wouldn't be very good. We'll have to
get a couple more, get maybe a couple more wins, get us in a nice position.
Okay, you can do it on the bench. So let's say we got 2 more home games, haven't we? Is it 2 more in a row now? Three in a row. 3 in a row. So I'm not at the 3rd one, but I think win this one, and I think the next one you need to do it if we win. All right.
A Bruce Forsyth impression.
Yeah. So hold him to it, and you can hold.
I'll tell you what. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
If you can guess Bruce Forsyth's age, I will do it. You get a guess each.
Who's dad?
He's 0 now.
Yeah, but before he passed away, sadly, how old do you reckon he was?
92.
No, he was 82, I think.
Go on, you've got to have one final answer. And I'll leave it on this. Go on.
Go on, you
92.
Lower.
88.
Higher.
90. Oh, God, he's doing it. Yeah, silly bugger. Yeah, I get it what he's done now.
Okay,
I get it what he's done now. Very good.
I try and stay one step ahead, yeah?
Very good. You can still hold him to because he'll hear you, won't he? Anyway, Jon Meeney, good luck for the rest of the season. We'll catch up soon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Brucey bonus?
He's played his cards right.
And his joke at the end really caught us out there, didn't he?
It did really. Once he did it, I realised what he was trying to do. It was really good.
Yeah, it was good actually. So,
I think he's a very good character to have.
Well, he's got that passion. I mean, the Sutton fans when he left again, where were gutted he was going because he seemed to be very well endeared to them, and they.
That's always a good thing, isn't it? When a manager or a player joins your club, your team, and the fans of the team when he's leaving say they're really gutted he's going. That is always, you think we might have a good one here.
Yeah. But you can see his passion on the touchline, on the bench. So Jacko could comment on that, being right behind the dugout most games.
Yeah, he's absolutely passionate about it, and it's just it's good to see.
It's good, and you want passion from your assistant management team, and sometimes you want to see that. And it's interesting how he's talking about how they sort of swap in and out of one time he's the one that's commentating, next time he's commentating, give each other a break and sort of bounce it off each other to get the right sort of level towards the players. But even just when we were waiting to speak to him earlier, the training session, I haven't really seen any training this season, but it looked really quite intense, and what they were doing with the players seemed really professional and up there, which it should be. But it's interesting to see the sort of different styles of training that we might have seen with Aggie and Dean before.
Yeah, but every manager, assistant manager, every management team brings something different, don't they?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's right or wrong to what they do.
Yeah.
It's just, but you can say, I think Adam and Jon managed at a higher level.
Well, we'll come back to part 2 about Hinch rejoining Worthing FC later in the podcast, but we've got to touch on the women's team after that enthralling 4-1 victory on Sunday in the FA Cup round 1 against Abington United. It was a great second half performance. First half was a bit questionable, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah.
It's great to see. It's been a bit of a tricky start to the season, so good to see a bit of momentum maybe. And
and hopefully they can carry it on towards all the other games.
And an OG podcast favourite, Ellen Newman's back, which is interesting. She's been AFC Wimbledon, got promotion with them. I mean, they were one of our least favourite teams we've witnessed here at Woodside. They're celebrating on the bench, and she's come from Fulham and Lewis to come back and sign. And on Saturday, you just saw, as we said to sort of JC, is how much more of a sort of mature footballer she is than when she left. She's she was very good on the pitch, one of the best players on the pitch.
It's a good bit of experience to come back into what is a very young team this year.
And an inexperienced team, and I think it showed Saturday the first half of Sunday. It was 2 different teams, I thought, on the pitch, first half and second half.
Yeah.
Second half, and actually we scored against the run of play.
Well, first half we were so under the cosh and just scored against the run of play.
Well, 2 wins, 1 loss in the league, but 2 wins in the FA Cup to give them a next round tie against Portchester, which, you know, I think is winnable. Obviously, we lost them in pre-season, but it was a completely different squad then. You can start to see how it's building now. It'll be interesting when we can catch a little bit of the match after we finish recording, see how they play. But Podcast Queen's not here this month. She's on a girls' trip. You know, she's enjoying our half term away from school at the moment. Well, not she's at school. She works at school. She works at a school. But she's enjoying time away. But I think from chatting to her, she's still a little bit off being back on the pitch. But it's still nice, you know, see her dad. Dad was there on Sunday giving a good old chat, and it's just nice to see. She could easily just spend Sunday at home, but she's part of that squad. She's part of the girls. She goes into the changing room, and it's just great to see her still getting herself involved, and that's going to make her fit right in when she comes back, which hopefully will be in a month or two.
But I think that's what JC alluded to as well, isn't it? The group is such a strong group, and you know they're clicking and they're bonding. So I think that will help with the results as well.
They do look like a really good group on the pitch, and yeah, knowing what they're like off the pitch, they're probably starting to really click as well.
Yeah. Well, let's speak to JC and see what he has to say on his monthly update on the Rebel Yell podcast.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Well, very welcome back to the Rebel Yell podcast, JC. A good old meaningful chat. A lot of feedback about a really insightful chat with you last month, so thank you for that. How's this month been? 2 wins, 1 losses, 2 FA Cup wins, which you must be happy about. A step closer to beating or equaling that record from last year.
Yeah. Hi guys. Thank you for having me again. No, it's good. I think it's definitely more positive the way we start. Obviously, we're pleased with the wins in the FA Cup. I think we fight very well and we deserve both wins. Sunday, I think first half we were not great, but I think we come back in the second half and we were the better team. We're happy with it. And now hopefully we get that confidence into some league games and we start getting some points.
Well, I thought the second half there was a completely different team playing on Sunday. We watched the game, and on the first half I thought, if we get away with 1-0 down and then we go 1-0 up, and then I thought it was really good. And then the second half it looked like a complete different team.
Yeah, what did you say at half time?
Yeah, I think
oranges from Seville.
I just say pass to the Reds, stop passing to the other team. No, I just said that obviously a lot of their chances, and it's true that they have a few, were coming from us, were coming from our mistakes. I think we lose the ball a few times near to our box or in situations that we shouldn't lose the ball, and our decisions weren't good. So, we talk about like secure the ball a little bit more and stop giving them silly chances. And yeah, I definitely think the team came a bit more confident in the second half and we were the better team. So
I think it was a very deserved win on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think so.
One I was really impressed, someone you announced this month, was Ella Newman returning to the club, who was a big part of sort of the run up to promotion into this league a few years ago. She's obviously gone away, got herself some experience, but I just felt that this was the first time I'd seen her play since, and she just seemed to really understand the pitch. She was a great team player, and I was really impressed with her. You must be pleased what you're seeing.
I think your words to me were she looks like she matured.
She's matured, I'd say, as a footballer.
I think she was very good the other day, to be honest. It was only the second game for her, and she hasn't been playing 90 minutes for a very long time because she has the injury, and now she's back. So yeah, definitely I'm pleased for her. I think you guys know her as well. She can give us a lot, and I think she was very good the other day. So hopefully she keeps going that way and improving and help us to
And
improve.
how did that signing come about out of interest? Because she was at Lewes. It was announced I think she'd gone from AFC, or was it Fulham to Lewes? I can't remember what way around.
Yeah.
Fulham to Lewes. So how did it all come about?
Well, as you know, she had an ACL injury, and after that, I think she was trying to get into obviously decent teams at higher level, but after that injury, I don't think she wasn't getting the game time that she needed to get her confidence back. So when she get the opportunity at Lewes, obviously we did respect it, but then she wasn't playing. At some point we have another chat, and I told her like she could be a great player for us. She could get the minutes that she needs with us and get to be back the player that she is, and we know she is. And that's why I think she needs game time, and in here she can get it. She can be a very good player for us.
And I even thought Lauren Amarina getting into some good positions. Obviously got herself 2 goals at the weekend, and she just seems to be coming into her own as well, and she seems to sort of be getting the goals when they matter and when they need most, and she's getting herself into the right spaces and the right places. So you must be pleased with the development she's shown.
Oh, 100%. If you obviously Lauren was here last season, and she was more a squad player, and I think this season she saw the opportunity to step up and be a really important player for us, and I think she's taken it. I think she's definitely a great improvement from last season, and as you said, she's now scoring goals, creating opportunities, being one of our best players. So I think she saw the opportunity that she could step up and be important for us, and she's taking it. So
we did say, didn't we, Jaco, that to be honest, obviously one of the, and we spoke to it in detail last month, the problem was for you was almost creating a completely new squad, but you had a core of players with Elle and Lauren Stain. Was that it? Elle and
Holly, literally a core of three. Yeah.
But they seem to, you could just see on the pitch, they seem to be a bit more of the locker room leaders and stuff. Is that what you're getting the vibe of as well?
Yeah, no, 100%. And you know how we started the season. We started the season with 12 players, having to bring players from the DS with us, and that's why we had that, sloppy start. But now, because they were creating a great atmosphere, and I think we all were creating a great atmosphere, we are able to bring more players in.
So you got a bigger squad now?
Yeah, I mean, we announced a few signings in the last few days. Obviously, the last few weeks, about Ella, Erin, Taylor. We announced Lucy the other day as well. Probably some more.
She's
coming.
From Millwall and stuff, isn't she? Like you saying,
well, she used to play for Millwall and Saltine as well. So.
Yeah, Saltine, that's sort of the cream of Sussex.
Saltine seems a bit of red, common thread here.
Yeah, Saltine and stuff. But you seem to be, you just in yourself, you seem a bit more happy and confident that you think things are starting to work and gel together. It's taken a few months. Why are all these players coming now? Are they seeing what's happening on the pitch? Because obviously you told us how much you struggled, especially with the Southwest again and all that lot. Why are they all coming all of a sudden?
Yeah, no, I think, and I said to the guys, I said, look, when we were 12 and we were struggling, you show how together we were and how we work as a unit. And people from outside can see the atmosphere was very good. And when we were doing some team building or some activities, or even in the games, even when we have difficult results, the girls were always stepping up and showing what they can do. And I think that's what is bringing more players, because they can see that what we're doing is good and is positive. So, we have a bigger squad now. Hopefully, now the results are start coming too.
So, AFC Portchester in the next round of the Cup, second round. Are you happy with that draw?
Well, I mean, if you look at all the teams that were in there, obviously a lot of them from Tier 3, really strong teams or really long journeys. So, yes, but still we know they have a great squad, very good players, and it will be tough anyway. For them, it's as well an opportunity to make history and achieve a round that they never did. Saying that obviously we look at it in a positive way. I'm sure they are thinking the same, because, we all avoid the Bournemouth or Plymouth or these big clubs that, they're really tough. So,
I mean, it is exciting because obviously the picture's finally been hung in the bar. Have you noticed? So the third round picture is in the bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the main bar. You can go and have a look and kiss it every time you walk past. Just little kiss on it.
I have to.
But I mean, wouldn't it be nice to be able to even beat that picture and get, the fourth round? And obviously Portchester beat us pre-season, but as you said to me earlier, it was more of a sort of, the team was completely different back then. No matter of fact, you're not taking it for granted, but you think there's an opportunity to be had there.
Definitely is an opportunity, but as I said, they are thinking the same way. So that's why we need to be very aware, and we need to go with everything. And hopefully, before that game, we still have pretty much a month. So hopefully we get some results in the league and give us some confidence to go with everything for that game. But there is an opportunity for us to achieve the same round that we achieved last season, and we are going to go to take it.
Well, Jaco, it's a Rebel Yell first tonight. It's almost like Pete, God rest his soul, would be really excited that we got the first ever pre-match interview before a game on the podcast. Although it will go out delayed.
Half time as well. But actually
he's not going to come in here half time.
I just want to ask you a question, because you mentioned the development squad.
Yep.
How's that going? And what are they making progress? What are they playing matches? And how does it work?
Yeah. No, they are, obviously they got their league. They are, I think it's called Tier 7 Premier League. something like that. They're getting some results. Obviously, it's a squad that is just being created, so it will take a bit of time. But we definitely got some very good girls in there, some good quality in there. And yeah, they are just in the league. I think they only lost one game. That it was against Horsham, so that they are a good team as well. So yeah, this is going in the right direction.
And are you involved in it at all, or with the development squad, or are you looking from afar?
No, I mean I speak pretty much daily with Sam, that is the development squad manager. I know all the girls. We try to bring, for example, today in the squad we have one of the girls as well.
Cool.
That's good.
We know that some of them play already for us. So yeah, no, we every Tuesday we're training together. So yeah, we are watching them.
I was going to say, cups like the Sussex Cup and stuff like that, which will happen later on in the season, am I right? Or
yeah, we start in January.
Will you be possibly featuring some of those development squad girls in matches like that? Do you think that's an opportunity you can take to rest the sort of first? No disrespect, but I know in previous years you found it hard because all these cup games and stuff, you get injuries and you've had injuries and you haven't been able to name a full squad. But that gives a perfect opportunity for you to maybe feature some of those in that squad.
Yeah, no, definitely, maybe.
He's an Oasis fan.
I was just about to say that.
There will be there will be some opportunities for them. They already, mainly 3 of them, they already play for us and they show a very good level. So yeah, definitely they will have the chance.
So potentially in a year, 2 years, we got somebody from the development squad or some of them moving on to the first team.
Yeah,
which
well,
is
potentially next year, I reckon it's a couple of players that could be with us.
That's good, and I think that solves a problem by attracting players, but also I think it shows the progress is there.
Yeah, no, and as I say, obviously it's a new team, it's a new squad that is just been born, so they need a bit of time as well, and they need to know, I think we need to put everything a little bit in place, but definitely we'll be thinking in the long-term way. That is how we have to think as a club. It will be positive.
That's good. Really
Fantastic.
good to hear.
Well, as we said, it's a pre-match interview. We won't know a result, and you won't know a result on the podcast, so just look at worthingfc.com because it'll be all done and dusted by the time this goes out. But JC, thank you very much. Good luck. Get you over to the squad, and we'll see you out on the pitch in a bit.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Mate.
Yeah, they're definitely gelling. You can definitely see the new signings are making an impact. They're, it was a tough test on Sunday, but they came through it very well. I'm sure it'll be a tough test tonight. I think Ascot are new to this league, am I right? I don't remember Ascot last year.
I don't remember Ascot.
I don't remember Ascot.
But also, I think JC looks a bit more, not relaxed, but, a bit more positive than last time. Because last time he was really small squad. Things weren't really going. And then suddenly you got a bigger squad. Results seem to be getting there. So, yeah, I think he's more positive about this season.
Well, what a difference a month makes, eh? What a difference a month makes. It's interesting. But it's great to see. They've got a tough month ahead. Swindon, big fixture because they're throwing the money at the league this season, so that'll be interesting. They beat us last year, and I think that was one of the most unmatched games in the world because it wasn't about 5-4 or 5-0 or something like that, and I don't think they deserved it at that stage. One of those games that just sort of fell apart. But, good luck to the girls' month. Hopefully we beat Portchester and get to round 3 and equal the record and possibly even beat the Further record. It is a good draw. It is away, unfortunately, at the end of November, so we may or may not have recorded before that one. I think we may have just recorded just before
Depends when James is back from holiday or not.
Yeah, not another holiday yet, but there
Judith.
we go. Judith, as you say, is Judith. Anyway, boys, shall we listen to part 2 of the Adam Hinchelwood Spectacular, as we should call it? And this is where he goes into how he returned to Worthing Football Club and the Messiah came home.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
York's in the past.
Yep.
You're back to Worthing FC. As Jaco said in the interview, can you believe have you been back to Woodside since all this change has happened?
I only come back here for Pete's funeral.
Oh, Pete's funeral. It's all changed. Yeah, that's another thing you said to me on Saturday. It feels so weird not seeing Pete around because he was like Mr. Worthing, and we did that podcast in when was it he passed? Was it February? February time, wasn't it? And we did that lovely podcast where you came on, spent your time, and it just sometimes it's one of those people you still you kind of forget that he's gone, but then you also when you think of that moment, you're like, oh Jesus, he is actually gone, and you're not actually seeing him. It's just crazy to think because he was such a Mr. Worthing. That must have been sad because I know you, Tracy, and the family are quite close to him as well.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah, no, it's some real strong relationship with good people around the place, and as soon as we sort of heard news, we both sort of knew that we had to take the time and effort to come down.
Well, a lot of people were actually taken aback that you were here, so I think you know that's really nice of you to have spent the time to come down, and you know obviously your full-time football up there to come down. But you know he's I'm sure Pete will be looking down now, he'll be absolutely buzzing at your back. I mean he's probably sitting there having his cigarette, having his beer, and cheering, commentating up in heaven or hell. I don't know what we were. Pete, you know he'd probably say some things. But so you came back in, you see like we're sitting in the 1886 lounge now, which was I don't know what it was like a gym sort of thing before that. It was a private gym, and you know you've got the fan zone there, the new stand. Well, that stand, the Chris Big stand, as you know. Do you know all about that?
Yeah, the
when
big
Chrissy was stand, and now he opened the stand and he's got his own sign. Well, we had to adapt it to put the standing area. Keith wouldn't let me put it up, but it must be almost like, wow, this is what I could see the club becoming. No, obviously you walked away, and you know you see it back. You come to take it to the next level. Now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I think that's a massive part of why I'm sat here now. Really, I think if the club hadn't moved on, hadn't gone to the full-time model, hadn't done all the changes around the place, then it wouldn't be the same sort of proposition. And you could see how ambitious they are, and that's what I want to get back to the National League as soon as I can. And
come for unfinished business.
Yeah, that's it. And I just feel the club's on that sort of track as well. And they've all the things they sort of said to me 18 months ago, they've sort of done. And there's a lot of clubs out there that say they're going to do that and don't, and I think this is the complete opposite. And to come and work for good people again, George, Barry, Nath, all the people behind the scenes, they're all good people and honest people, and they don't always tell you what you want to hear, and there's not always everything you want there, but it's always honest conversations, and I think that was a big pull as well.
It was funny because did you notice on Saturday Barry was walking a certain ex-director around the ground, and you could tell he was like, what's happened here? I don't. You'll know who I'm talking about, I'm sure. But it was quite funny. But it's that sort of thing.
His son was on the pitch.
His son was on the pitch sometimes as well. But it was quite funny that, and it must be exactly what you thought. I mean, what did you do in your off time? Were you still just in York? Were you like actively looking for jobs, or were you just taking that time? Because obviously, I guess you'd have got a little bit of compensation money that meant you're not necessarily in the immediate future having to find work. But I guess what did you do in that time?
It's a bit of a difficult sort of period because we're sort of still up in York because. Kids' schools and stuff, like how we rather than just come and move straight back down south and be closer to the family, like where we was all settled, we just felt it was right to stay there and wait for the right opportunity, because we could move back down south, a job come in the Midlands, and then got to move them sort of twice, so we just thought it was right with them settled in schools to stay where we was, and which was nice, but at the same time, like I say, York's a bit of a goldfish bowl, and you don't really want to go out and venture out too much because you're going to get fans coming up to you and what's going on and stuff like that. And it was a bit of a sort of reset sort of time, and take some time off, spend some good time with the family.
You're now a grandfather, aren't
you?
Yeah,
that's it, yeah.
Jack's had a kid.
Yeah,
he's playing for Brighton all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the plan, to go and watch him play. And
because a friend of mine, a guy that does the Brighton Rock podcast, Russ, I know he texted me saying, I've just seen Hinch in the away stand, a good old chap. Yeah. He won't say anything to me. And I think that was just on the Jarvis Brook game. He was texting me like it must have been that weekend before. I don't know if you're down. He said he had a good chat, but he wouldn't give away anything. I said, well, he's not going to come and tell a random Brighton fan this stand.
So I went to the Bournemouth game, and obviously the plan was to just go and watch Jack play, and he got injured after 30 seconds in that game. So that put
good luck, aren't you?
Yeah, that put the car wash on that. Yeah. So then you're just sort of like sitting around and obviously watching results. And to be honest, after that first Saturday, I was missing being on the side of a pitch, and knew that I wanted to get back to it. But I had some offers, spoke to some really good clubs, some in the National League, but some of them for whatever reason just didn't happen.
So when you saw Chris Agutter had left Worthing, did you? Oh, hello.
A little bit, yeah.
Did you think?
To be honest,
did you say, and then Tracy?
Yeah. Let's start.
What did you think though? Did you? I know you said like Nath approached you quite quickly, which I said to him on the joke when we reported that podcast, didn't I said, I bet you've been on the phone to Hinch where he goes, no, why would I do that? And it just
to be honest, like after going into the National League, my ambition was I wanted to get into the Football League and be a Football League manager.
Well, that's what I said, and it wasn't an offensive thing. Like, I think I was surprised you came back because obviously you've earned your wings in the National League, and we all said, like, we literally said that. We were like, he's not coming back to Worthing. No chance he's going to come back to Worthing.
Everyone was sort of saying that to me as well, and saying, just sit tight, even like my agent and good friends that you speak to and trust in football, and just sit tight, something's going to come. But it gets to a certain point where there's only so much Homes Under the Hammer and bargain hunt you can watch during the day. So you haven't applied
for bargain hunt?
No, yeah.
Did I tell you me and Gary applied for bargain hunt? We didn't get on.
That was going to be the next port of call, I think, for me. So there's only so much that you can do, and it's all very well thinking, I'm ready. I feel ready that I can manage in the Football League for sure, but. It's what me thinking that is, does the owners of clubs actually think that? I've had one good season in the National League. Is that enough to then, obviously there was a club that come in and offered me a League One opportunity, but it doesn't mean that
it would have been a success.
Yeah, that's it. It's gonna, or that offer's gonna come. That was in the sort of bit of a back of my mind. And I spoke to all these other clubs. I spoke to about a couple of other clubs in the National League South. But as soon as I see Nath call, and
I think the smell out of the east part of Sussex is quite bad, actually. I'm not so sorry. I'm not blaming you for not going.
No, but just I don't know. Something did. It just resembled with me, and like as soon as I got that call, and I don't know, it just then spoke to Barry and Nath and. Spoke about the club, spoke about the ambition for the club, knew that there's back full time now, and see the players here as well. That was a big part of it. Knew there was a good core of players here to work with, and just felt that the ambition of the club met mine. And obviously, I've got a son that lives 20 minutes down the road now, and he's not 5.5 hours away or whatever, but which is a big part. Anyone that knows me, family's a massive part. I've got me and Tracy's first sort of granddaughter, and now to be that close and to spend more time with her. There's all that fit, and you have to take it all into consideration. The kids as well, Teddy's football, the girls they're cheerleading. You take all these things.
So we're getting the rebel cheerleaders.
So that's it.
On match day.
That's it. You take all these things into consideration, and it's not just about you as a person in your career. And I felt I was a bit selfish, not selfish, but I felt like I moved all the family away up to York. It hasn't quite worked out, and a little bit of me was I need to do it for the family, and a big part of it was that the club is ambitious, and you take all those factors, and it just felt right.
It makes the decision a bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also I was going to say, you're not that old. You still got time to make it to.
No, that's right.
And I think if you get us up this year and we have a good season, National League the season after, I think it sets you even better.
Yeah, definitely. And I just think you can say and sit and wait, but ultimately I think you're soon forgotten in this game, and there's no better way than putting yourself out there and going into the work and getting results and showing what you can do. I prefer to show rather than talk about what I'm going to do, and I think the club's quite similar like that.
Don't they say you're only as good as your last result?
Yeah.
So, everybody would have forgotten you.
No, that's it, yeah.
I don't mean a negative, but
No, still undefeated since March in the league, I think, something like that. But, it's... there was so many yes boxes for coming back to Worthing, and the most important one was the players and the club, and the ambition that I've got as a manager still met the ambition.
Well, I know you said about the full-time football as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Before you left, you're like, you want this club to be full-time.
Yeah.
We are now full-time.
That's it, yeah, and I think even doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays evenings, there's bits of that. I think in an ideal world we'd probably go to Thursday mornings, but I would be half tempted to keep the Tuesday nights in just because of the body clock, and that's when if you're going to play in midweek, you play Tuesday night. So I think it gives the players a bit more time to rest on a Tuesday during the day as well. So there's things that we take from this sort of hybrid model as such, but it's very much full time. We've only got a couple of players now in the group that on the part-time sort of model, and the rest are in that full-time bracket, and that's the way the club wants to go now. We've got to start recruiting in terms of full-time.
So what's the ambition? What's the plan? Obviously, we know National League's a plan. I guess you've got to put your mark on the squad, get it all sorted for this season. I'm sure your plan is to get promoted this season, but as we know, it's a tough league. It's always a bloody tough league. Have you thought long-term goal Football League, or is that too far to push, or are you sort of thinking just get us into national and sustain us up there?
Yeah, I think obviously the first sort of year of going to full-time, that's going to take a bit of time to adjust and stuff like that. So honestly, I know it's going to sound not what everybody wants to hear. They want to hear that I'm trying to push the club to League One in 5 years. But
5 years, that
yeah,
long?
I know.
What? I thought it was 2 years.
But the honest truth is, as a manager, you cannot look past Hampton and Richmond on Saturday.
There we go.
That needs to be, all your focus needs to be on that. And I think the minute you start getting carried away as a manager, the fans can, but as a manager, if you start looking any more longer term than that, then that's when this game will find a way to come back and
I find it quite interesting you say that, because you always have said that. You always look from game to game.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I wanted to ask you, the last 18 months being away, have you changed as a manager?
Yeah, no.
Have you learned things like how not to do it?
Yeah.
And actually, if I do X, Y, Z, it will work better.
I think obviously when you do get sacked, I think you do reflect on yourself as a person, as a manager, and you look at the things that you do well. Is there things that you can change and improve? Of course there is. But yeah, I think the majority, won't change. And I'm a big believer in making it a good, positive workplace for people to come, and they should want to come into work. The first message I said to the players was, we're the luckiest people in the world. We get to work in football on a full-time basis. So I really want to see them coming in and enjoying it and expressing themselves, and because us as staff are going to do that. So I want them to definitely do that. We're lucky. We're in a privileged position, and I really want them to feel that every day when they come in. And that's, I think, one of the qualities that I like. I like to make a good group, and I want people to want to come in to train and want to come into work. And I think all the time that you've got that, you've got everybody pulling in the same direction, and you set good standards around it. And I'm a big believer in that. And I think the team off of the pitch, I like to have good people around me that can set those kind of standards as well. And but I don't think I've changed too much. I definitely haven't mellowed on the side, as you can see by my hand here.
I've noticed that on Saturday.
That's a dugout walking into my hand on the
Saturday?
I think Cheshire away. Yeah, Saturday.
That was quite funny.
I apologise now if there's any more younger supporters, but I'm sure their parents will be moving them to the other side of the stadium after seeing me on one game. But
you haven't heard him behind your dugout. Bloody hell, you've got to put up with him now behind your dugout. You never had to do that before.
No, so yeah, obviously, there's things I look at and I want to improve as a person, as a manager, for sure. But I don't think you would see too much change.
I think it's quite nice to see Jon back. And
John's been fabulous.
And his enthusiasm and his passion for the club, it's just it gets everybody going.
Exactly. I think what you have got is two Sussex lads that are local, and definitely the club means something to us both, and it's definitely not going to be through a want of trying and a want of passion that we're both going to give to try and take the club forward.
And finally, I guess, before we let you go, because I know you've got to drive up to York and sort of...
Last one.
Is this the last one?
Last one.
He's sort of dot the I's, cross the T's, and say goodbye to York forever. Well, hopefully forever. Don't dare go back there. Don't do that to us again, Adam. Have we got any signings, you reckon, in the next sort of few weeks, or are you quite happy with where the squad's at?
No, yeah, I think so. I think, I wanted to come in and analyse the squad, see what was here before sort of making too many wholesale changes. Obviously, there's been a couple already, couple false with the goalkeeper situation and stuff. But I think now we've got a couple of injuries. Bailey's hamstring is going to be a little while. So I think we need some reinforcements in the top end of the pitch, and we are working on bringing in some players in that area.
It's a shame because we were just saying to Bailey, like, I think last season, we admit it on here, he was probably one of the most frustrating, inconsistent players last season, but he'd had an amazing pre-season. He was unbelievable. And then we don't understand why he never played. I mean, that's obviously a question that Aggie could have answered for us. We never got the chance to ask. But he was so good pre-season, and it's such a shame you've given him the opportunity to play, and he's gone and torn his, is it hamstring? He's torn? Yeah, it's so frustrating. Football for you, eh?
That's it, yeah. And I'm more devastated, know what it's like being out of injuries, and it's a frustrating time, especially when someone's just giving you that opportunity to go and showcase yourself. But all Bailey can do now is focus on being a good teammate around the place, and apply himself and make sure he comes back in a better vein of Bailey, and sharper, quicker, if that's possible, and stronger, and working on.
He reminds me a little bit of Jasper.
Working all of his other side of his game, and with the pace and that he's got, I want him to, study football a bit more and focus. I think he can be a bit more intelligent in his runs and stuff like that. I want him to go away, and I think this gives him an opportunity to do that. So we want to see a better Bailey when he comes back. It's frustrating, but sometimes these things happen, and it is football, unfortunately. Part and parcel of the job is you're going to get injuries and from time to time, and you've got to mentally prepare yourself and make sure you come back in as best position as you can.
Just talking of signings, Cox, how did you do that?
Yeah, no, it's obviously a player that I've been.
You knew him from when
you
were
at Brighton? Brighton, yeah. So he was together at the youth team, and then obviously see him his rise, and you follow it. Like any player you've coached, really, you sort of see how they're getting on, and obviously he was available to come and train him. I had a look at him, and his quality is there for everybody to see. I think the intensity of the game on Saturday threw him a little bit, if I'm being honest. But similar to Teddy Jenks as well. Give him, like Ted, I think we're just seeing the best of him now. And what's that been? 6 weeks, I think. You give Coxie 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see the real 100%. Best of him when he's up to speed, and what a talented player we've got on our hands.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think he looked. I thought he was almost too intelligent sometimes of playing the balls, but it will come.
That's it, yeah. And I think we got some real intelligent players now. Spongy, Ted, Sam Packham, Coxie. Real intelligent footballers that have played at a good level, played together, know each other's game, and. I think, it's the makings of a really good team. Like I say, there's really good players here, and that was one of the big draws to coming back.
Well, Hinch, it's amazing to see you here again. We're buzzing to have you back, and we're looking forward to the season. Get yourself up to York.
Yep.
Drive safe, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Nice one. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
He's back. It's like Eminem, shouldn't he?
And the dugout knows about it as well. He's back.
Does he? What, because you're not as shouty as before?
No, he hit the dugout, didn't he?
Yeah, he hit the dugout. Yeah, he's got a massive cut on his... Yeah, he said the dugout walked into him. Yeah. He said,
Who put that there?
Yeah, who put that there? What's this thing?
Wasn't there last time?
It was concrete. It was concrete last time. It was concrete. Just great to see him back. Just really happy. I think, at first, I'm not going to lie, I was surprised, as I alluded to him in the interview. I was surprised that he took the job, because I thought his stature would be sort of higher, would be National League or higher. But, he said he got offered League One, he got offered other national leagues in summer, and, other national leagues came in for him when he was sort of unemployed. But, it's great to see him back, and he just seems so happy to be back. There's something that he just seems happy, and you could just tell. How long that will last for, if the results keep coming in, we will. But, a really great chat with Hinch, so thank you, Adam. And, we can't do 40 minutes every month, mate, but we'll try and cut it down.
We'll get the alarm going.
We'll get the alarm, put some buzzes on him when it approaches that thing. But great to see you, and welcome back to Worthing FC. Jack. Come on, food man. You know it was coming.
No.
So, what has Jack eaten this month then?
Burger at Maidenhead.
How was that?
Oh, sounds excited by that.
That was quite a good burger, actually. It even came with lettuce, tomato, which I didn't have.
No, you knew we'd never have that.
Well, but that was just a good burger, really good burger. Nice brioche bun. Nice. And they did some.
I'm not a fan of the brioche. I prefer the old school sesame.
And they did some really.
I like a brioche bun. Do you not?
I do.
Like a cake.
But they also did some really hot chips.
Hot as in temperature? Or?
No, spicy. Really spicy. Really spicy. It was good. The result was a bit poor that day, but the food was all right.
Yeah, well, there you go. We had some Jack. Anything else you've had Jack Eat-wise?
No.
Are you still not at your chicken corner for not serving chips? Did not they serve chips in chicken corner? You can't get chicken down here.
They serve chips there.
What is it you said that they couldn't get chicken? Oh, you could only get chicken up there.
You don't get chicken up there, not anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's called Chicken Shack, which I get.
I think chicken corner should be called chicken corner.
Yeah, but chicken corner, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, whatever.
But yeah, there we go. No, it's good to see you get your food, but another time in the podcast. We talked. We're not doing Spencer services anymore, so there's no point.
Because it's always the same.
Yeah, but I've got Spencer. I've got a new feature just for you.
Oh, don't you love AI?
No, but actually, it's a bit rich coming from him. What did he buy on Sunday before he came to the football?
A Spencer meal deal.
Prawn sandwich.
Yeah, I had prawn sandwich as well. Yeah.
This is a banger. Spencer with a meal deal. Spencer with a meal deal. Spencer with a meal deal.
Rebel your life and Brighton
Spencer with a meal deal.
Anyway, you've done well to sandwich that in.
That was good. Oh, here we go.
He's on form tonight, isn't he?
Spencer, have you had a good meal deal? Because you've had a couple of away days, haven't you? You've had Cheshire Maidenhead and Chelmsford. Did you get a meal deal?
Why are you looking at me? I don't know.
Didn't do Cheshire or Maidenhead.
Okay, Chelmsford then.
No.
You didn't have a meal deal to drive up in the car?
Driving.
Oh, for God's sake, you've literally ruined that segment.
Well,
I thought it was a
nailed
on answer that you would have had a meal deal. Have you had a meal deal this month?
Actually, no, Wimborne away.
Okay.
Had a meal deal.
What did you have?
It would have been so memorable. It would have been a co-op meal deal. It would have been. I had a BLT sandwich, the standard Ginster sausage roll.
Yeah, you like a Ginster sausage roll.
And it was some bright blue Lucasade. Does anyone come across bright blue?
Bright blue.
Oh yeah,
Lucasade,
I've seen
nice.
it.
Looks like mouthwash. Probably tastes like mouthwash as well.
That's
really
interesting.
So it's like, let's be adventurous.
I bet
Try run a little bit of it.
I bet your guts loved you after that, didn't they? Yeah.
It might be called Ice Blast.
Yeah, probably. Sounds like something like that. Sounds like Tango Ice Blast.
It was.
Yeah.
I think it was tropical flavour. It was
No,
horrible.
no, that's not Lucasade. That's Gatorade.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was Lucasade. It was
Did you not
horrible.
finish it? Couldn't finish it?
Oh no, drunk it.
Just
I paid for
held
it.
your nose. Yeah, it's not as good as my prawn sandwich
Anyway,
meal deal on Saturday.
This is fascinating.
Well, you won't do it. You won't go out the way on the podcast to start some new services. So we've got to find a new feature for Spencer.
We need to get
Bloody hell,
promoted or
bloody hell,
relegated.
Hinch, get us up to the National League.
Yeah,
And we
and
can do
then I can go
Spencer
to-
airports, meal
Then
deals,
I can
train
go to
stations.
some new services.
Carpets.
Well, I haven't. Have I been to a new Spoons? I don't think I have. They'll go to, no, where did I sent you a Spoons photo? I think, wasn't it? Well, somewhere.
Thanks for still listening, that one person.
Ah, well, you know they look. Actually, this is why we put it at the end, because they know they want to wait for the Spencer meal deal. Spencer services, James's carpets, and Jacko eats. You scratching?
Meal deal.
Having a scratch there. Ah, got you.
Spencer with
No,
a
just
meal deal.
yeah, it's a good song, isn't it?
Actually, one thing.
Should we release it as our comedy charity special for St Barnabas?
Christmas single.
Christmas single. Meal deal. Jarvis Brook, I have to say, that was a really, I quite enjoyed that away day.
Oh, had a decent burger at Jarvis Brook.
Oh, yeah, no, you were feeling a bit ropey after, weren't you?
No.
Was you not?
No. decent burger.
No, that was good. I like that. It was a proper non-league ground, but it's bloody cold. Even though it was like, where was it? End of September, wasn't it? Like last week of September. No, first week of October, wasn't it? But it was not too bad during the day, but it just really felt cold.
Oh, that's right.
I had to go back and get my hoodie from my car.
The moment we got there, it's like, the second it turns dark.
Yeah, nothing around, and you can imagine in that they had many games called off, but it was a nice little ground there, nice little
lovely people,
fans. But a bit of a tough month coming up with Hemel Hempstead. Hampton Richmond. Old Davide Radare returning to his old stomping
ground. He's going to score, isn't he?
Of course he will. Hemel Hempstead, Totton, Tunbridge Angels away in the trophy.
Yeah.
New Haven in the Sussex Cup.
Yeah.
Slough, Torquay, Hornchurch, top of the league. Hornchurch.
Good away day, Slough.
Slough's a really good away day.
Hornchurch will be an interesting one because that's going to be the real test, isn't it? You know, they are playing very well this season, top of the league with a game in hand. Fair play to them. They seem to be performing well. Whether they can keep it up all season.
So are we.
There we are. We're playing well. We are playing well. We're
just going to get manager of the month, and then
we'll lose every other game after that. So, you know, always the curse of manager of the month. But a little bit of sort of maintenance of WSSA. The AGM is Wednesday, which is tomorrow. This podcast should be out either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So if you are around tonight, Wednesday, come along 19:30 at Woodside Road. If you're not a member, you are very welcome to join and see the AGM and get to meet your WFCSA committee members. Also, you can buy a mini Mackie, which, Spencer, how much are they?
£10.
And they give £1 each to St Barnabas. But thank you for those that have bought them so far. We sold quite a few. They're flying off like hotcakes on fish.
Hot Mackies.
Mackie.
No, thank you, everyone.
And I think they're going to be a perfect Christmas present. You know, great idea for like the little ones, or if you've got family members that you want to have, like, you know, for a little
stocking filler,
Secret Santa. Yeah, get a fit.
I think you should make smaller ones you can hang in your.
I've had enough stick at these ones. I've already had people who go, get rid of these first, and then we'll talk about the next merch. You know what it's like with us on merch. We got ain't Rebel Yell shirts. It's these. So do thank you for those. And keep an eye out for your inbox because there will be a new Worthing FCSA emailed address launching soon, probably after the AGM, and the new website will be coming in the next few months. Thank you for your support of Mackie the Mackerel on a match day. It's been really great to see. Come and say hello. And I think since Gary had a word last month, no one's been mucking around with Mackie, apart from a few drunken lads doing some quite grotesque moves in front of him on Saturday, but we'll let them off. But yeah, just the behaviour around Mackie has improved, so I appreciate that. But once again, thank you for MK Window Cleaning and Price Jones Electrical for your continued support of the podcast. Gentlemen, anything else from you before we wrap this one up?
Actually, one thing we didn't mention is the new signing, Cox.
Oh, Cox, yeah. Oh, and bye-bye to Temmie.
And bye-bye to Temmie.
we were trying to recruit a new...
Temmie,
we did mention you, but with Temmie, actually, to be fair, we need a new correspondent for the men's team. So Hagee went, Temmie's left. Is it a curse? It's a curse, I think. So maybe we don't want to have one, but we will get one. Jack Spong was going to be, but then he wussed out at the last minute. So thanks, Jack, for that if you're listening. But,
again, Temmie, if you're listening, thanks again for everything you've done for the club and for us. And
we'll keep an eye on
geezer.
And if you ever do play against us again, don't score. He will score. But you know, it's the thing. And yeah, Cox has been fantastic. So yeah. Great signing. Look forward to seeing
his fitness up and going. He's going to do.
And obviously on Friday, it's. What is this? I'm just talking. So rude.
I know. Just playing music.
It's on Friday. It's the open training session, isn't it? It's only for season ticket holders and members.
Yeah. Limited to 100.
They'll release another 50.
Oh right.
So it's 150 people. And actually, I am going, but we had a bit of a few of training this afternoon, didn't we?
Yeah, it was good.
James? It was really good.
Yeah. When we were waiting, it was good.
Yeah.
But enjoy that. Enjoy the football. A lot busy month coming up, very busy month. But on the road, supporting them Rebels. I just remember, if you see Spencer, just come up to him.
Love it. Very Euro dance. That could go for Eurovision next year.
Meal deal.
This
could be Eurovision. Spencer with a meal deal. Spencer with a meal deal. Do you think Kylie would sing it for you? I don't know, but anyway, on that bombshell, thanks for listening. We'll see you next month. Goodbye.
Goodbye.